There are some things you wouldn't mind being stuck with, like a large unexpected inheritance. An always on the verge of death phone that has to be plugged in just right so it charges is not one of those things. Switch to Verizon and we'll pay off your old phone, up to $800 via prepaid MasterCard, so you can get a new one. Just trade in any phone from our top brands on any unlimited plan. With new line on my plan. Additional terms apply for trade-in and pay off your phone offer. See Verizon.com for details.
This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular, dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit and talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
You got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, and that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Hey, folks. Welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. I'm James Boyd. We have Rich Latta. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. We're here on a Tuesday, and man, I am actually like I really wanted to do the show yesterday because I wanted to talk about the AEW in Atlanta show, and boy, I'm glad that we took an extra day because it gave me a chance to watch like 4 huge matches I was interested in at the New Beginning in Osaka, and my God, very, very happy. And we also got some breaking news minutes before we went on air that will make for an interesting topic in a segment or two. What's up with you, man?
Not too much. Just I watched Dynamite, I don't know, from last weekend, the show we're going to talk about, like on double time, except for the main event. And I got to say, like, I've watched enough double time or 2 times speed wrestling to be able to like have an idea of what's going on. And like, I thought this was a really good fucking show. A really good show. Like, I don't think there was a single like segment I hated. I don't think so.
Yeah, I liked everything.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they pulled out Dustin to go out there and come out with his yearly awesome promo per year. So yeah, man, they
MJF wasn't that bad
because they cut him off twice. They're still teasing around him and Hangman eventually locking horns. I like that. They're going slow at that. And they set up a lot of stuff for getting to the Grand Slam Australia show, which I feel like just looking at that card and seeing what I saw this week is like, it's going to be like the show, the card just looking at it was already great, but it's like now like the storyline stuff is coming into formation to make it feel like something worth watching. And now it's saying you on the road towards Revolution. I thought like, yeah, man, this is looking like a proper wrestling promotion again. It's amazing. It's amazing how, you all you do is say, hey, I've been given the reins to some other people. Let me take these reins back. And all of a sudden this shit is back to, not looking like it's falling off the rails. It's amazing. So yeah.
Got a lot of joy in wrestling this past week, man. I was down in the dumps like last week when I was talking about the process or the prospects of American wrestling. And, part of me still believes we're kind of fucked unless like, beats like these keep happening.
When we talk about the show, I'll tell you the things that I'm happy for because it's something that like I thought was true to. I thought it was big for AEW's identity at the time when it was, when it first started out. It looks like they're getting back to, and there's been other times where they've kind of pulled the football from me on that. But I I think that they're actually really going to do it this time. But yeah, man, as you mentioned, the Joy is back. Look, man, we're not going to talk about it because one, we missed it last week. And you didn't have time to watch because you wanted to watch New Beginning instead of watching the matches that I asked you to watch days before. But all right, so we don't get to Stardom. But yeah, man, like I had my joy watching that Stardom show in the last 2 matches, or last 3 matches, because man, the last 2 were fucking awesome. Like both of them, Dave Meltzer gave the trios title match 5 stars. I wouldn't have given it 5 stars, which is funny because like. Every time I go online and there's some match that like could get 5 stars for in Joshi space, and he goes out there and he gives it like 4.5 or 4 3/4, they lose their mind. And this match is like, this ain't the match that he should have brought the 5 for. Like this match wasn't as good as Julie and Shuri was in Sumo Hall in 2023. Like this wasn't as good as either one of those Mayu IWGP big matches versus Shuri or versus Suri last year. But like this match, like we have some of those multi-person Stardom party matches or whatever that are fucking awesome. This was that on steroids, on HGH, on whatever Randy Orton is on. This shit was fucking awesome. Like the last time there was a tag match Stardom that I was like head over heels like this is fucking awesome, and I would recommend this to any wrestling fan, was like the Momo and Azumi versus FWC, I want to say that was 2021's tag league final, because that shit was incredible. Whereas like this might be the best 2v2 tag match I've ever seen in Stardom. Like this is like this is the best trios title match I've ever seen in Stardom. It was incredible. And like they brought that typical format where like they normally get down that closing stretch where there's 2 people in there and he's locked in there forever. And they just go through a million near falls. This was like, they did that, except like, it didn't just end with just the same people in there for like 10 minutes going at it forever. Like it was, people were in danger and looked like it was over. They, by the grace of God, got out and kept it going to get out to keep their team alive. It was incredible. Like Azumi and Starlight Kid and Ano and Natsupoi were basically the main carriers of this match, and they were fucking fantastic. And yeah, man, but the main event was like, how we were talking about like Toni Storm, which was like, I'm not necessarily, the character is silly or whatever else, but she got to figure out how to make the matches work. With Kamatani, it was that at first. It was, the match against the Grand Prix final against Mike. It was like, she'll learn, she'll figure it out, she'll get there. Man, the match with Tam, that was 4 1/4, and that was like, you would have wanted more for that to be the Sumo Hall main event of the year. But this one versus Suzu was like, well, I think she's figured it out. And that match, like, for Meltzer gave that like 4 1/4 or something like that, and I'm like, that match is a lot closer to this match you gave 5 stars and you wouldn't have let on Meltzer. That's easily over 4.5. Like, if you get that 4 3/4, I would not be mad at anyone. They were fucking cooking in the last 2/3 of that match. Cooking. So yeah, man, like, if AEW fumbles this little momentum they got right now, guess what we'll be going back to doing? We'll be back to covering Japanese pro wrestling on One Nation Radio regularly. Because, what's just around the corner? Security is around the corner.
New
Japan Cup before that. Yep. Anniversary show. Starting to have a Yokohama arena show in May, I think, late May. So yeah, man, and they are not like, that's the thing about this Stardom pay-per-view was like, this is not some big arena. This was like a Corkin Hall show, and like they have basically like said we're not going to do any like big venues until we get into Yokohama Arena. Like they are really building towards this thing to be special. So like, I look, Bushiroad, man, they are here to pick up the slack just in time while this shit was, look, passing station tonight. Amrest going like this critically, and Japanese, major Japanese press going like this at the same time. So yeah, man, Very happy. Very, very happy. I just see that I have now seen that I froze. You can't even see the hand motion.
Yeah, you froze a while ago too.
Let me because I had a pop up. I had a pop up to be able to see my video and your video better. Let me just go ahead and X out of that, and we can go back. So, yeah, is that better?
Ah, there we go.
See,
perfect.
Yeah, 2 videos, no, 1 video, perfect. But yeah, it was like, look, AMRES, hero, like this. You finna just.
It was just.
I know sometimes.
Yeah, man.
I know sometimes they're like, "Hey, I feel like this is like, I bet some people like, it's kind of redundant. Like, it almost feels like y'all have another All Things Elite. Well, you keep this up, you finna have another fucking Keepin It Strong Style. Fuck around. We'll be covering the 5-star Grand Prix and the G1 Climax 35.
We not married to nothing on here. Like,
you fuck off, we will leave. We will come back when you're better again. We learned that from Vince McMahon fucking us over.
So I guess I'll just talk about the new beginning real quick then, like the stuff that I saw.
Mm-hmm.
Bolton, Oleg, and Konosuke Takeshita, big, dumb, athletic niggas fighting, and these niggas did a lockup on the outside of the ring, James.
Hey,
look, I don't know why they did that, but it popped me and it was hilarious. Like, I was like, y'all niggas was dumb. Like, yeah, they was trying to fight it out, slam it out, brawl it out, like all that. Like, just an incredible match. Bowleg Olden, real. I don't know where he's from, but he be coming out wearing that thing on his head. What's his name? The nigga that whooped Connor. Khabib. He be wearing one of them kind of hats, kind of like a little bit, not quite the same, but close enough. As I mentioned, great, Eastern European geographer Rich Latta here. That he's clearly from over there.
He's clearly from over there. God damn it.
And they found this man, and this man's eye to eye with Takeshita. Takeshita normally just dominates niggas, rocks them, hits them in their face, and they crumble. Now, this nigga crumbled, however, but he stood the fuck back up and rocked Takeshita a couple times, and was just moving him around in the gut wrench and slamming him like just outrageously dumb strength. Just there was a superplex that Takeshi gave this man. He superplexed this nigga so hard off the top rope, the camera shook, and it was like, did an earthquake just happen? I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, so go out of your way to see that.
I'm gonna watch the whole show when I get a chance. Yeah. I heard too much like good things about it, like on Twitter on accident.
Yeah. The Young Bucks come in there and they face Tetsuya Naito and Hiromu Takahashi. Hiromu, we got the appearance, I believe Trish called this out, we got the appearance of Hiromu Buck, as they was hitting their pose, Hiromu was doing it in the background and all that. So I was watching this, and I was watching it with Catherine, and Hiromu Takahashi had her dying laughing with the dives that he was doing, running around the ring, just like the cross bodies that he did. Just comedy.
This is our first time ever seen Hiromu?
It might be. Because she was like, his pants are outrageous. I was like, You should see his jackets. Like,
remember, yes, you should see the stuff he wears at Wrestle Kingdom.
Yes,
they get dressed like a fucking alien invasion.
So this was just like Tetsuya Naito, looked decent in spots. They set a lot of stuff up for him. I saw people trying to get on him for like a botch, but I think it was to set up a spot.
Mm-hmm. Do you think
the way it all kind of played out?
Do you think because of the Wrestle Dynasty show, right? Like, do you think at this point, like, he's just a tag wrestler? He just like he can hold it. He can hold it in the road in tags, but like big singles guy, he's just done for right now or maybe forever.
Like if it was me, he'd be working tags and 6-mans for a long time, and he'd have like 2 or 3 singles matches a year, or outside the G1.
Yeah, I'm gonna say because they have to put him in the G1 just to help.
He's gonna be in the G1 still.
Yeah.
He'll probably just be a middle of the road person or whatever, but that's fine if you establish him as like he's Tanahashi past 2019. If you establish that, I think that's fine. But it's when people like expect him to be the Naito of old, I think, is where people will get in trouble with him. You can still enjoy him for what he is right now in a different role here. So this match was cool. Matt Jackson is jacked out of his mind.
Hey, Rich, I know you said Tanahashi past 2019. I would like to point out that 2020 G1 Tanahashi was fucking awesome still. I saw that. Remember, even number G1s, I watched those. He was still fucking awesome in that blog. Like, him and Goto had a fucking banger.
I'll talk about Goto in a little bit. But then we got the next Tetsuya Naito and Hiromu win the belts. Matt Jackson is jacked out of his mind. Best shape I've ever seen him in. Eagerly excited to see these guys get back to AEW TV, walking into perhaps a much different tag team landscape than they had. And I enjoyed their little mini run in New Japan Pro Wrestling here. Like, they were motivated. They were over in Osaka. They were getting cheers. And it was like, it felt like they got rejuvenated by this a little bit.
Well,
Yota Tsuji versus Gabe Kidd. I'm here to tell you niggas now. January 4th, 2026. Be there, nigga, for the rematch. Be there. Out of this fucking world. Yota Tsuji is no longer waiting for, to be basically, elevated or anything. No, he's here now. Like, it's official. He's a top star. Incredible.
I mean, he's been
Gabe Kidd.
I mean, when you say he's proved that since at least the Dome, at the latest.
Oh, it's official now. Like, it's like if
no, but I mean, don't you mean like okay? Do you feel like now's the time to say, or do you be like it's beyond official? Like, now you just ignoring the common sense.
No, it's beyond
now.
official.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I feel like it's at that point now.
Like, he's fully formed. I'll say like we've seen, like, all right, this nigga can clearly be on top of this company along with this nigga that I'm about to talk about. Gabe Kidd,
leader of LIJ.
It might be. Yeah, him and Gabe. Gabe was over as fuck in Osaka, walking around the building. This man coming out doing the Dylan Brooks kind of dance or whatever to his song. And basically is his taunt when he gets like out of like a chain wrestling sequence or some shit. These niggas have an epic match. Like, just two big barrel chested motherfuckers slapping, fighting, just like setting up all this perfectly timed stuff. Cool spots. There was a reverse of a spear, like of the Gene Blast into a pile driver. I was like, what the fuck? I think Gabe is like going to another level now. Like, he's going to be putting these on pretty much all year now, so lock in like with him. And he was they basically, Gabe's thing was like he wanted to use all the basics against Tsuji because they have a long rivalry going back to being young lions and all that. But with Gabe, is almost not about the moves. He has the moves, don't get it twisted, but
but he doesn't.
Bro,
he doesn't.
It's like he cuts his chest open and lets us see his heart while he wrestles.
The thing about him that I like about him in the ring is that, like, he, when he does the part that I buy the most when he talks about, like, I am the, like, more or less, I'm the heart of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Like, when he's out here doing the octopus holding shit, like when he's actually doing the young boy stuff, like that actually is endearing,
Yeah.
So yeah,
they there was a long sequence. I think it was Tsuji that actually put Gabe in the Boston Crab.
Oh yeah,
and it was like
he sold it. He sold like an earful.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Absolutely. So like they end this match right as this shit goes to a draw, and I don't know what's coming.
You didn't realize it? What was it? 20 minutes?
I didn't know. No,
30.
Let me look up the time.
Either it's probably 30.
Look up the time on it. Hold on. 21:42.
It went to a time limit draw in 21:42.
21:42. So this is what they did.
Oh, okay.
It was like a double knockout, and it was like it was like a Rocky 2 ending, pretty much. So like they like Tsuji gets up at 9, but then he collapses again, and then it's like, are they gonna start it over? But Gabe never gets up or whatever the whole time, and it's 21 minutes. This match is insane. I did not see that coming because, like, and the whole time, like, I was fortunate enough not to be spoiled. I was like, how are they going to do this? Because both these guys kind of need a big win. Tsuji just got that belt. Gabe has the New Japan Strong belt, but he hasn't really won much. You know, he's coming off the loss at the Dome, draw with Ishii, now another draw here or whatever. But I think this shit was like, if you went into this blind, oh my God, like, this is one of the best matches of the year. And then, okay,
I was say, you know me, like I don't care about a draw if it's excellent, like and it's you know, and you're not overdoing it, right? Like that was the appeal of like Shuri for me at the beginning. Was like she will go 15 to 20 minutes with you in a multi-person tag or a singles match or whatever in the Grand Prix and get you to be like, I can't wait for that person, for them to fight again to see who actually wins this thing. Hell, she did it with Utami like 3 fucking times to get to that final match. So yeah.
These niggas were emptying the gun, emptying the clip, like as far as like they looked exhausted. They were just fighting it out with the strikes. Like the crowd, both dudes like gods. I felt like I was watching guys step into the next era of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Like these are the two fucking guys right here. Like I'm not seeing this Shota Umino who cut his hair off like he was Kyle Fletcher at random. I'm like, the last time you got your shit all fucked up was when you cut your hair to the other length. Of course, doubling down is gonna help. Yu Uemura did return on the show.
He's still selling the baldness.
No, his hair is growing back now.
Okay, that's good. You don't need to wait. You don't need to wait like 6 months or a year. So yeah.
Right. At the end of this draw or whatever, I'm like, well, what the fuck happens? So the House of Torture runs out, right? House of Torture comes out.
All right, how'd they get out of this?
Gabe's laying in the corner, and then Yota Tsuji, they started stomping a mud hole in him, just beat the fuck out of him, discard him, essentially. And then Evil comes out with Dick Togo, and Evil's wearing an all-black shirt. Evil's whole thing has been like he's leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Right. He's been that work shoot shit, yeah.
All right, so he gets in the ring, and then they're like helping Gabe up, and they're talking about, you know, there's always been a loose affiliation with House of Torture and the War Dogs. This is all Bullet Club here, essentially. And I'm like, I don't know, bro. Like, I'm just like, And then what happens is they drop Gabe Kidd, like, and basically Evil is all a ruse. House of Torture is now his own standalone unit. Evil cuts a promo. They whoop Gabe Kidd's ass. They whooped Tsuji, and then essentially established House of Torture as his own separate shit. Clark Connors, who was on commentary, tried to run in. He got fucking killed.
Yep.
And then kind of just left those guys land. So it's like the War Dogs are all kind of set up for babyface turn, it looks like. And, you know, I thought it worked well. And then the main event. I think a large part of Hiroki Goto's appeal is Hiroki Goto for a long time was a lot of us. He's someone that may be special, but he doesn't know it. And he's perpetually stuck in the middle. He's banged his head up against conventional wisdom, achievement. You know, he was going through his career defined by failure, and it's like almost, why are you still here when all of your peers are aging out, retiring, or, you know, leaving to another country and all these things. And then as I was watching this match, just seeing, I felt like I watched Goto's entire career summed up in one match, as far as like, you want to talk about never say die, never quit. Like, hasn't had an IWGP title match in 9 years. Everybody knows 0-8 Goto losing to Tanahashi and Okada over and over, geeked out, winning all those tournaments in the older days, but, never really got, whatever. But then, like,
because the last time was 2015, right?
He was in the G1 final in 2016.
I thought he won 15 and then he lost in 16 to Omega, right? Or am I wrong on that?
He did not win in 15.
Okay.
He won in 2011, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. I remember I remember specifically that he lost to Omega in the final in 16. I remember that.
Yeah. And the first time I ever watched Hiroki Goto was against Shinsuke Nakamura. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, because I was spoiled. I was like, they beat Nakamura with somebody, and then I saw him wrestle the first time. I was like, oh, this nigga's raw as fuck. Right. Like, and he's the thing about Goto is he's always had the incredible moveset, incredible connection with the crowd, the super raw music, and like,
remember that one time, like, wouldn't last like 6-7 years when he got himself in better shape. And he maintained it.
And then, like, he's gone through and he's had good matches with, a couple guys. He formed a tag team with Yoshihashi, which became, one of the more notable tag teams in history.
Yep.
With Bishamon. Mm-hmm. And it's like, to see this guy, like, never give up, and then his dad dies last year, and that becomes, like, the central thing to drive him to make the New Japan Cup finals. Drives him, to have like all these awesome matches in the G1, and basically just gets this entire career rebirth, essentially. And now he faces Zack Sabre Jr., who I would consider of his generation, but these guys have kind of rose up in separate ways as far as like, Zack and Goto have wrestled a ton of time. They've been around each other in G1 blocks, and like, this is not a new opponent or anything. This is like somebody that, was there going through it with him. And it's like, Zack's the champion, but it's like, he's not unbeatable. Right. So Goto reached deep down within himself. And when I tell you the way he was getting out of these submission holes had this building looking like it was ready to concave upon itself. Like, I've never thought I don't think I've ever seen a better Zack Sabre Jr. Submission performance, as far as like, it looks like it's over for somebody. Like, it looks like he's cutting them off. It's basically, there is no exit here. There's no exit around here.
Even better than like the Ospreay stuff?
I think so. Just the moment in the IWGP title, and it was just like, He's shutting the water off, essentially. He's turning the lights off in the home, and the only way out is to walk your ass out the front door, essentially, is submit. But this nigga never submit. And, like, he just kept going through it. They were striking each other. The building is just like, like it's crazy in there. And he starts getting these insane reactions and wins this fucking belt. And it's like, holy fuck, like, this is one of the greatest things I've ever seen. This is one of the greatest matches of all time. I think, like, this, if you are a pro wrestling fan and then knowing anything about Hiroki Goto, right? They sold the shit out of these tickets. It sold like over 5,500 in Osaka for this. And it was like, yo, man, like, they've got something going with him. People are into it. Yeah, he's old. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, like, it's like, and he called out Tanahashi. He's going to defend the belt against Tanahashi. He's going to defend the belt against Yuji Nagata, and he wants Shibata. And if they do Shibata and Goto again,
they're going to lose it.
It's going to be incredible. Yeah. I tell you, I could not be like, Hiroki Goto, this is one of our guys. This is a pro wrestling fan's pro wrestler right here. This guy was going to just walk into being one of the greatest wrestlers to never win a world championship. Well, what happens now, James? I guess we'll never know, because he did it.
Yeah. A lot of feel good stuff going on with New Japan. Like, you mentioned Sabre being the champion first. Is like, well, if Sabre can be champion, why can't Goto? So, like, it made sense that, like, that's what it gives birth to. And then, like, obviously, given that where they are, like, they can't go back to Naito. Naito's doing something else right now. like they can find like until they find a proper time and place to get it to Gabe Kidd or get it to Tsuji or get it to Takeshita. They can ride out with these guys. They can ride out the hell. They can go back. They can go back to Shingo, right? Like they have guys that they have guys that can hold down the main event for it. The problem was we never thought that they could get themselves to a point where like not being so afraid of drawing. They were like they had to keep going back to Okada and Naito, and there is no Okada in this equation. And Naito is just beyond the point where they can do that anymore. Right? Like they have squeezed every last bit of juice out of that lemon or orange, whatever fruit you want to call it, citrus. So yeah, like I like what they've done. And like it is rewarding to watch a wrestling promotion and watch an entire generation of pro wrestlers and see people that are perform at a certain level and whatever else they don't break through. And you don't have to immediately move on before you get through all of the stories you can possibly get through. Right? That was one of our main frustrations with Stardom was like, we got through, we got to Tommy. We got the Shuri story. We got through Tam and Julia. But it's like, we know that Kamatandi's next, but it's like, it feels like we're a million years away before we ever get to Starlight Kid and Azumi. And like, they finally got off their ass and got to it this around Christmas. And it was like, thank you. I've been waiting 5 years for this. So like, yeah, like when you get through, that's one of the things when AEW or whatever else you talk about like the pillars and that kind of thing. And like we talked about is like most places there's going to be a churn and the guys that you think had the potential to get there aren't always going to get there and you will be disappointed, but there will be new guys to fill those roles. Like there will be a Swerve Strickland to come along. But if there ain't no Swerve Strickland to come along, then you got to go with those guys. And like at this point, there's not necessarily a Swerve Strickland to come in. So like, yeah, like, and also in this particular situation, like they're Kenny Omega, their Moxley is too old and one left went to another continent. So it's like, all right, what are you going to go with now? So for them, like, it has to be really fulfilling to like, to watch Goto, and we've watched Goto for over a decade,
Yeah.
And we always joke like, bro, he's so underrated. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world, but he'll never be champion. And we always joke about Goto. We always made a connection. We always made a joke about Goto and Jungle Kiona. Like, do you know the kind of tears I would have cried if Jungle needs to get fucked up and she had finally won the red belt? Oh, I'd have been done.
I did not cry. I did not cry watching Goto, but it was dust in the room. I'll say that. It was dust in the room.
And it's worthy that we've watched that dude be fucking awesome for a long time. It was never that the Isaiah Thomas, why he didn't make the Dream Team in the Jordan documentary is like
I was qualified.
I was qualified a minute. That motherfucker was always going to be a world champion level wrestler. Or always be put in main events to be a world champion. He always was that good. It just will never happen because he was in the most loaded, like, male singles division we've ever saw.
Like, he's playing on a 27 Yankees and he's like the 8 hitter. Like, yeah. I don't...
Like, like, remember Robinson Cano in the 09 Yankees, like, he was hitting 7th or 8th or whatever. It's like that. It's like, yeah, he's an all-star. Yeah, whatever. But like, yeah, there's still A-Rod and Matsui and Johnny Damon and Jeter. It's like, yeah, you're dealing with a whole different type of monster here. And so in context, it will make sense. But like, in the context, or in the vacuum of New Japan Pro Wrestling in the 2010s, yeah, he's not a world champion. In the context of pro wrestling in general, that motherfucker's a main event level wrestler. It had been. So like, I'm happy for him.
Question for Brewhaven: does Goto winning the belt give hope to Ishii or no? Yes, it does.
Oh my God.
And I'm not quitting on. Look, the day Tomohiro Ishii wins the world title, I will cry my eyeballs out on this stream talking about it.
Now they don't even put him in the G1 no more. So I hold out hope with you, but it's hoping against hope.
But, yeah, like
he's more qualified than even Goto was.
Yeah, So that was the first. I was like, bro, can we get a Goto Ishii defense? Can
Bro,
we do
I
a little something?
I'll tell you this right now. If they go on a title succession plan of Zack Sabre Jr. to Hiroki Goto to Tomohiro Ishii, I'd be like, you know what, Gato? I have poured dirt and shit on your name for like the last 2-3 years. You know what? Let me get a shovel and scoop some of that off you. You are now making me look. Toro Kano's out of my doghouse after what he's done the last 2 months. So yeah, like there's always time for me to stop hating your guts and the shit you do. As long as you start doing the right things.
Yeah, man.
All I'm doing is working on information I have at present time. I'm allowed to change my opinion upon new information.
I think like Hiroki Goto win the championship gives hope for us all. You know, gives hope for us all.
Oh my god! So it's sad to say this. We have Japanese pro wrestling to give us hope in this whole situation. Not like American wrestling. Not like the American political structure. No. Japanese professional wrestling is what's keeping us going through the days now and doing this show. Oh my god!
Amazing.
It's sad. Very, very sad.
So we're gonna take a left turn real quick. So we have the death of Irv Gotti, who's a American music producer, record producer, founder of Murdering Records, A&R at Def Jam, heavily connected to the New York rap scene, career of Ashanti and R&B, and he passed away at age 54 after multiple strokes. So Irv is a character, man. I kind of consider him understatement actually on character.
Yeah.
He's like the not as like flagrant version of Dame Dash to me. Like Dame Dash is just completely abrasive and like, whatever. And Irv could be like that too, but there's a lot more joy inside of Irv Gotti, I would say. I feel like they're the same. They're very similar. Now I'm gonna say exactly the same person. They're very similar. The charm that Irv Gotti has is that like he actually had a musical talent. That is true.
And Dame Dash talent was I talk shit off air or behind the scenes that you never hear about, and I get to talk more shit. And then when I
have the best rapper in the world to clean up my mistakes.
And then when things go left or whatever else, he wonders why he has no sympathy for him. Oh, it's because you were an asshole for decades.
Yeah. But Irv was a producer, produced a lot of great, all-time rap music. A lot of stuff I grew up loving and getting sick of at different times because it just
got too popular.
It ran the radio. It ran the radio, bro. Like it was like couldn't escape them. The INC and a lot of after 50 Cent his unit came and bulldozed all that stuff. Like I said, I think I talked a couple weeks ago about us being unfair to Ja Rule and stuff like that. Like, I mean, it's only correct. Like, if you go back and start listening to this stuff, like if you just listen to a lot of production that was on some of those Ja Rule albums and the risks they were kind of taking for the time as compared to everyone else, it's like he was doing something here a little bit. Like, and he'll never get the credit for it or whatever. But I think Irv, like the way he impacted music with DMX and basically quitting his job, saying, I will quit Def Jam right now if y'all don't sign him. And then like X has undying loyalty to him for that. And they finally get him in the door and he's basically, producing everything for, As Dark and Hell Is Hot. And then there was X, all that shit is Irv, like as far as like the A&R vision on that and basically bringing it out of X or whatever. Then of course, Ja Rule and then Jay-Z, like he's connected to those three guys that rose up in the post Biggie era of New York rap. Produced Can I Live for Jay-Z, which is, there are a lot of best Jay-Z song ever lists. Can I Live is number one on a lot of them. Dead Presidents, whatever you want out of those.
Dead Presidents is. I feel like every time I look at people's lists, like Dead Presidents is like, if it's not one, it's always in the top 5.
Yeah, and just an incredible interview. Like Dame can talk all day, colorful, charismatic, and it was it was very sad to hear that he passed on. And I went through and listened to a lot of the stuff. Yeah, Mike Geronimo, like. I love East Coast Rap. I love the production of it, in the 90s and stuff like that. And, a lot of that stuff, like, it basically got ushered out of like ushered to the wayside, like after 2003. So like, this is a long time ago that he was connecting the dots like that. But, he did do R&B. He had Lloyd, he had Ashanti, and, kept going kind of with that. But like his sound and like the memories of it is getting further and further away, and like why it was dope, and like the stories behind the music, and that we're losing access to. And thankfully he did interviews with Drink Champs and Nori, and could tell, I know some of the Ashanti stuff with him is a little like, a
little.
It ain't for me to necessarily look. I wasn't there. I don't necessarily care to hear about their love life and all that. I heard the music, and at the end of the day, Irv, she chose, so it's like, they had Nas for like 2 weeks, on Murder Inc.
We talked about that the other day.
Yeah. And then, like, that shit was like, man, it really felt like Murder Inc. was unstoppable at their peak. And you just had to deal with it one way or the other.
Yeah. Like, Irv is one of those people where you look around, like, just the credits of the songs and the albums and everything, and like that doesn't do justice to how involved he was in a lot of this stuff. Like, it's one of those things where it's about like what the ground game was in New York in the 80s and 90s for the music industry, for the rap music industry, where it's like, how the old school music business, as we would call it now, and like how it was for rap music in like just Jersey, in the boroughs, in the radio stations, and how old timey that was. And like, it ain't too dissimilar to like, if you were to talk about like the, like the radio stations in country places or whatever else, getting records broken in. And it's like, it's so boys club. It's so insular. It's so incestuous. It's so, you got to know somebody and all that kind of stuff. And like, he was around all of that.
Irv knew everybody
in a way where it's like back then, like the whole entire rap music industry was New York, and then like a couple of places here and there in LA. You know what I'm saying? And like, he was a big part of that. Like, there is no reason why we should know who Steve Stout is. You know what I mean?
Right.
But we do. Like, we don't. Obviously, people get, execs in rap get shot out in ways and other genres of music just don't. But like, there was something about that era where it's like all these people, like the game, the industry, the artistry, like made them larger than life. Even if these people were like people that were like actually real characters like Irv and like Dame, or if they were people that were like reserved, right? Like, there's no reason why any of us know who Kareem Biggs Burke is. You know what I mean? It's one of those, like, hell, why the fuck do we know who Young Guru is? You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, he was a great engineer, and did all that, but like, there are certain people where it's like, why do we know these people? Because like, all these people were in this compressed area that basically that monopolized and was the industry, right? It's almost like going back to the territory days, and like, that was New York City, but like, there was no St. Louis, there was no San Francisco, there was no Tampa. Like, it was only there or seemingly. Like, nothing else ever mattered. Like, that's why you have Outkast getting booted at the Source Awards. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. It's like, you remember the conversation, that I forgot who it was, but Jelly Roll was talking about, like, the Beyonce country stuff, and that we all found interesting, because it's like, yes, Jelly Roll was like, yes, she should have, based off of how good her record is, she should have been nominated for all this stuff. She was not, because it's Good Old Boys Club, it's a community, and like people like Shabuzi are in because Shabuzi's part of that community. They know him. In Nashville, they know Beyonce based off the fact where she's the biggest star in the world, but they don't know her as far as like these records.
You're not the biggest star to us.
Right. So you get the part where it's obviously there is racism involved in that. Absolutely. But there's also the part where it's like, we don't know y'all. Like, your record's great, but like, we're supposed to, you know, just bend over for you because you're you. I think the answer should be yes, but whatever. I think it would be a thing where
they wanted to come kick it amongst the folks.
But the thing is, like, she's done it before. Like, she did the Country Music Awards before, so it's like, well, she has like tried to curry favor you before in the past. Then do this record. You had like you never had before, but like it's a part of that where it's like, outsiders, out of towners, y'all ain't finna come in here and tum in our trap and run the shit you want the way you see fit. It's our shit. We ain't giving it to you, right? And like that's how it was for rap for so long. So like, you know, when the game's kind of changed with the streaming stuff and the internet and like, you know, rap has gone so to it had a very homogenous sound of like the minimalistic trap stuff. And it's like, for me, it's like, I miss the regionalism because it's like you had these pockets and they were doing their own thing and they had their own distinct sound and they ran their city or their area or whatever else and people loved them. And like, if the music was dope, to me, it didn't matter because like, I'm from an area where like our music, I like our music, but like there ain't nothing that appeals to the masses. So it's like when I hear Bounce from Manny Fresh, I like it. When I hear Tear the Club Up from 3-6, I like it, you know? So I've always appreciated that thing, but like I've noticed that other people haven't. So for me, it's like seeing how like the New York thing was like, nah, man, if it ain't New York, we getting it the fuck out of here. It was always like, it always irritated me when I was younger. I was like, do y'all not recognize how dope this other stuff is? And then they would do the country motherfucker stuff, and I'd be like, all right, man. And so like for me, like these last 20 years, I've been like, I wouldn't say that I enjoy New York's downfalls. I love New York rap, but it's like this. You read what you saw, motherfuckers. Y'all try to box all this shit. Well, you've got this one important part once the internet gets involved. Like they get to decide what they want, and like when it's black music, like y'all was black music. Y'all thought y'all was black music, but you gotta remember there are way more black people in the South than it is in the 8 million people. Not even black people, just 8 million people in New York City. So that's kind of what happened. They got overruled, and now they've had to talk about all this shit about the rules of their own games. Like, look, we understand you created this thing, but you were completely hoggish with this. So now your ass in the mud now.
I think technology actually plays a bigger role than you're stating too, because it's not just like the people choosing what they want to listen to. It's literally the tools that the music is being made with, like or whatever. So it's like
far more democratic. Like, you know how people complain about like you get any old idiot that say any crazy thing on a podcast, and you know black men need to stop need to stop having podcast equipment. Luckily, luckily all these years we've never said nothing crazy enough that people say that about us. But there's something to that. It's like, man, just because you can don't mean you should. And that's another thing when it comes to music. Like, you know, you might get a hit. You might also make a lot of bad music on the way to getting a hit. And that's one of those things where it's like, all this stuff is accessible. And then you get stuff where like, yo, bro, you know, 20 years ago, they would have threw your shit out the window. They would have put that CD in their shit, heard it for like 15 good seconds, and they would have thrown that shit on the fucking turnpike.
Niggas would have they would have put your tape in, like.
Oh, tape, it would be even worse. Oh my god, bro. Can you imagine? Like, let's take it back to like 98, right? Yeah. And they playing that Bruno Mars and Sexy Red. Oh boy. Look, I understand what
somebody might have hung Bruno Mars.
I understand that they respected the P shit because of how many units he sold, because of just pure capitalism, whatever else. I don't think they would have cared that Bruno Mars is the most streamed artist in the world. They would have been like, get this shit out, get this shit the fuck out of here.
Somebody might have hung that man over the bridge like Suge Knight, like sign over your masters.
Yeah,
for that kind of shit. But like, but to bring it back to Irv, it's like he's just one more key to that past that doesn't exist anymore. And I would recommend just pull up some Murder Inc. music. I think that's the easiest way to kind of get whatever. Who could ever forget him yelling out "Ja" on the Thug Love song with Bobby Brown? Yeah, man. He's watch an interview. He's done a couple of them with Drink Champs solo and one with Ja Rule. And definitely check out the Murder Inc. story, like BET releases. It's on streaming and all that. So I would definitely check that stuff out if you're looking to get another. If you like kind of this conversation.
I saw clips of it, and then like when I saw that Ashanti wasn't involved, then I was like, oh, okay, maybe I should not care what they have to say, because like that's
So I think the reason why she didn't do it was more like her personal relationship with Irv, like as far as like their love relationship, as far as like her being like, and then just mixing it is like, nah, I don't need to be involved with this or whatever. It's almost like Chris Webber not being in the Fab Five documentary.
I get you. I'm not saying like, I'm not talking about like the malfeasance. I just feel like, imagine you was Ashanti. You drop Only You, and your career is completely like completely altered and thrown in the mud because of a rap beef with a nigga that you ain't got nothing to do with. Her career got ruined because she signed to a label. Not is the rapper in the beef. Signed to the same label that the rapper is involved in. That was nuts. That was nuts what happened to her.
I think Ashanti's still like I think she went on to about 2007, which is much longer than Ja Rule did.
No, she did, but it was to vastly diminishing returns. That's my point. Like, Only You was like the last big hit she had, and then like, obviously like there was the one song with at the time it was R. Kelly and Ja Rule in her or whatever else. But like it was like every single time when something come out was diminishing returns, and then like she came out something like the late 2000s, or maybe it was like the early 2010s, can't remember. And like, it got radio play, it was like, it's just done. It was just done. It was like, wow,
they were very overexposed though.
That's true.
They were very overexposed, like 2000, 2001, 2002.
But you got to remember,
2003 comes around, it's like.
But you got to remember what that game was like. It'd be one thing if like her stuff wasn't moving, right? She wasn't on no features after a certain time, and that was like. There was always room for a singing ass person to be on someone's single. There always was. Mm-hmm. We had Avant out here on people's singles. Not that Avant's not talented. Be my point. Like they were scraping.
Plies got her on.
Say again.
Remember when Plies had her on one? It was like 2010 or something like that. It was like You Want It. It was like Want It Need. It was like his third album or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was almost like Shanti.
Not Definition of Real. The one after Definition of Real.
The one after, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Like that's the one that was like Busted Baby with Neo, right?
That was on Definition of Real.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
So is that okay? So I'm guessing that's the album that had Who Hotter Than Me then.
Definition of Real is Who Hotter Than Me. It's that third album, that The Realist or whatever.
The Realist one I'm thinking of. Yep, that's what I'm thinking of. Yep. I'm mixing up these Plies albums. I haven't listened to them in a minute. But yeah, man. Much as Josh chagrin. Did we ever tell them about the New Orleans trip?
I'm sure we've mentioned it before, but
me, you, Jeremy, and Rich driving from Tampa to New Orleans for WrestleMania in 2018, WrestleMania 34. And I don't know what got into it was you. It wasn't me. I was driving.
Yeah.
You just got the ox. You said, I'm just gonna play like 90 minutes straight of Plies. And I'm me and you loving it. Jeremy dying at all the slick, ridiculous things Plies saying, and Josh is back there fucking just in misery. Sorry, bro. You gotta be in misery. It is what it is. I'm fucking awesome.
I love it. So we should talk about the WWE. Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
The Kendrick Lamar halftime show.
I forgot. Let's do that.
I mean, we ain't got much to talk about when it comes to Super Bowls. We can get that real quick. Hey man, I was over.
They beat the shit out of the Chiefs.
Yeah.
God damn.
I went to a review. I went to Marcus and Sarah's to watch it. Specifically for one reason or two reasons. One, I asked Marcus after the halftime show, does he want to be referred to as OVO Marcus or OVO Money? He refused to answer. I asked him 3 separate times. He got out of it 3 times. So
you got to tell me, what was Marcus looking like during this show?
I'll get to that. Well, let's get the halftime show. So, Marcus, he's a Baltimore Ravens fan. So he's like the only hater. He's the only real hater I know of, like Lamar. I'm sorry, of Pat Mahomes. So he'll be like, Aaron Rodgers better than him. Tom Brady's better than him. Peyton Manning's better than him. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, man. Stop it. Knock it off. So I was at his house when they played the Niners, and Patrick Mahomes ran over that dude in the end zone. And oh man. Oh, I gave him the blues that day. But anyway, so he was on that shit. And Marcus, he don't really mean that stuff. He's a troll, right? So get there, he's like, yeah, man, like, I don't know, man. I don't know who's gonna win. I think the Eagles are better, but they got Jordan on that team, on this side. He literally said he got Jordan on this side. I was like, oh, I see now. I see what's happening now. The reverse jinx is in. I see what you're doing. The reverse jinx is in. You're not slick.
Even God couldn't help him, huh?
Right. He on that. So I'm like, okay, I'll let it slide. I'll let it slide. At least he's showing some honest, some actual, like, honest, halfway decent, halfway accurate analysis of Mahomes now that he's like, yeah, this is Jordan. Yeah. So, man, I had said to them, because it was Chris Shaw was there, I said, hey, man, like, same thing as like somebody, the last Eagles Super Bowl, and same thing as the Niners Super Bowl last year. It's like, I'm not going to pick, I don't have a prediction because either way, I'm going to sound like a damn dummy. If the Eagles win, it's going to be like, well, they are the better team. They have more talent top to bottom. And then if the Chiefs win, like, and after I pick the Eagles, it'll be like, hey, man, well, what the fuck you doing picking against Patrick Mahomes? You ain't learned your lesson on this yet? So I was like, I ain't got no pick. I'm just going to watch. And man, like, I just watched it, and when it got to 10-0, I was like, this don't look good because they ain't moving the ball for damn. And then the pick started happening from Mahomes. I was like, oh, this is going to go bad. Real bad. Because, like, their guys can get open. They can get separation, can get open. And
they was on his ass. Like, the D-line just decided, nah, nigga, we parking on that side of the ball. Like that's where we reside.
There was a point where they showed the graphics, and like it felt like I was watching like Ohio State in the playoff this year, where it's like they keep getting on the opposing team's ass relentlessly with 4. And
you know what that reminded me of?
Go ahead. Giants and Patriots.
No, LSU, Oklahoma, 2003. That D-line getting on Jason White's ass.
Yep. I mean, that's the beauty of college football. Like, when you have, like, teams because, not close schedules, whatever, places are, far apart. Teams, powerhouses rarely play each other in these situations, except for bowl games, whatever else. And you get that power, blue blood versus blue blood beatdown. It's always like, yeah, man. It was just different this year. You had the people up front. So, like, I thought it was out of hand, but then, like, I saw the graphic and, like, Mahomes, after his 25th, in the middle of his 26th drop back, it was like 25 dropbacks, 5 sacks, and 5 other pressures. I was like, yeah, man, that's what it feels like, too. And then I think on 26 drop back, he got sacked again. I was like, man, he ain't got no shot. And then, like, even though the Chiefs, they kept Saquon, like, bottled up. I thought Saquon...
They kept him in check.
Completely in check. And, like, there was a part in the beginning of the game, and we talked about this when you text me about Jalen Hurts, and I was like, bro, like, he keeps... That's the thing with Jalen Hurts, like, bad Jalen Hurts, like, he holds onto the ball too long. Like, you can see him, like, literally process. You see him, first progression ain't there, second progression ain't there, instead of just using his feet and athleticism to get out the pocket to buy more time, he'll just sit there in the pocket, and it ain't like the pocket has collapsed or there's people causing him to stay there. And, for most part, quarterback's supposed to do that, but it's like, you're not the kind of accurate guy that's going to come and find the third read enough times or find the other side of the field enough times to make people hurt with that. You need to get 1, 2, look back on the side of the field. If it ain't there, get the fuck out of there. And sometimes for me, I watch him, he's frustrating. Because sometimes you'll see him in the pocket just sitting there and it's like he can get out and then he'll unload some ball close to the sidelines to A.J. Brown and it's not accurate. Today, or the other day, they were accurate this time. Like the fourth down, they got called back because the offensive pass interference because A.J. Brown stiff-armed them. That was a great ball. But it was offensive pass interference. But it's like, most times, he don't connect on those. That's why he's a frustrating watch. So, yeah, man, it was just out of hand, and it didn't matter. Like, I didn't think he played that well, and it still didn't matter because they beat the hell out of him. He didn't turn the ball over.
Yeah. Like, I'm not really as tapped in on the NFL still. Like, even
like
it's hard to get to know everyone. But I just took a look at Jalen Hurts, and I was like, he's not really doing anything impressive. It's almost like one step up from a game manager kind of.
Like if you saw
quite a true superstar.
Mm-hmm. Like, so 2 years ago when they were in the Super Bowl, he was a great quarterback. He played great 2 years ago. Like, if you go back and watch the highlights,
he was way better in that game.
He was fucking incredible in that game. Him and Mahomes were incredible in that game. It was one of the greatest Super Bowls ever. And then last year, he just was not good. And people were looking around like, yo, bro, was that last year a fluke? Was that Super Bowl year a fluke? And then, they ended up against Saquon. Saquon ran for 2,000 yards. And, some of the dudes they drafted from Georgia ended up, maturing into being guys. So,
they had white defensive back.
2 of them.
Look, they out here picking off Pat Mahomes. I'm like, what's going on here?
Here's the thing, Rich. Cooper DeJean is actually good. Like, okay, so
I saw a highlight reel of him dunking in high school, just left and right.
So you know how we always clown on Iowa?
Yeah.
About how inept how piss poor the offense is. The thing that Iowa always produces, though, white DBs and tight ends.
Linemen?
Tight ends.
Oh, I was going to say offensive linemen?
Bro, they got like 3 NFL tight ends right now.
Damn.
Maybe 4, right? Like, they're all good. They're not just like, I got drafted, I'm holding on. No, they're all like good tight ends. So, like, I don't know why, but they produce white DBs and white tight ends in a row. I don't know. I don't know what's going on in Iowa, but they produce them and put them in the league. So, DeJean, he didn't start until like the middle of the year, and they put him in, and he's like, look, I'm never losing this job again. He was clearly better than the dude he replaced. Clearly better than him. So, like, with the 2 white DBs and, like, all these guys from Georgia, like Nakobe Dean, who got hurt, and Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, they're a wrecking shop. And Rich, remember when we talked about Jimbo? How I was pissed with Jimbo, where he gets a elite 5-star defensive end, or he was getting talent at Florida State, but then he wouldn't develop, and then he ended up being good in the NFL. Josh Sweat, Florida State, 2.5 stacks last night.
I heard that name so much the other night. Josh Sweat again. Here's Sweat having a huge night. Bro, Sweat. It sounded like a Stro song, James.
Right.
Sweat.
That's the Tampa shit. For those that don't know, that's the Tampa music scene. But he was not a pass rusher in college. Like, he was it was like a pocket Jadeveon Clowney type situation. Like, super athletic, devastating against the run, but just could not get to the quarterback in college. Gets in the NFL, has a pass rush game all of a sudden. Was a 5-star guy. Just didn't happen at Florida State as for like the post Dalvin Cook era. And it infuriated the shit out of me. He ended up being a good pro. Thanks, Jimbo. Thanks for nothing. So yeah, man, like it was just an ass whooping, top to bottom. Congrats to the Eagles, because like I really liked their team from 2 years ago. And then last year it was like, oh my God, this thing's not gonna pan out, it's gonna burn out. Like, most teams end up like, I have this unlucky thing where it's like, I watch a team and I like them because they play like a balanced style, or maybe even a run first style. Like, I really like, remember me, like I really like those Harbaugh era Kaepernick Niners, but they never won. They got Super Bowl, they lost on the last second, right? I like teams that play with balance. Like I like that 2015 Panthers team because like they were smash mouth and they also had deep shots with Ted Ginn. But those teams tend to always not, they rarely ever get the job done. So I was really happy that a team that I like their philosophy on how they handle shit, like great defense and we're balanced, just win. And they just beat them with overwhelming talent, just all out talent them. Just all the Georgia, all the UGA guys that won 2 titles, recently, all on that team, young, on rookie contracts. So,
yeah, bro. The Chiefs look like dead men walking, bro. Like almost from like the very beginning. Yep. Like it was just like there is a clear difference. It reminded me of when Peyton Manning walked in there against the Legion of Boom, and it was it is not your night. Yeah. Like it is not.
Yeah, and it's been a minute since since the last Chiefs Bucks Super Bowl. Like just an outright just Super Bowl ass kicking because like with the playoff stuff of the last couple of years, people complain about how close these games are. And it's like, do you not know how many times we've seen blowouts in Super Bowls? And it's like, what are you going to say?
This is a thing.
Yeah, like, that's the thing that happens. Sometimes, sometimes the best team just shows up and beats the hell out the other team. That happens in pro football, let alone college. In college, even more lopsided. There's more advantages. So, yeah, man.
Let's get to the halftime.
Yeah, so Super Bowl halftime show. Kendrick Lamar, SZA. Oh man, I have not rewatched it. I watched it live. I enjoyed the hell out of it for what it was. Now I have an issue with the limitations with it for rap when it comes to this because like I think in order to have when you have a singer and there's no lip syncing, whatever else you get, or no backing track, you can get all the words, all the breath, you can make things, give them time to where they can catch your breath and stuff. But you have someone like Kendrick Lamar who is a fast rapper, is also doing some dance moves, whatever else. He is rap, so it has to be edited for the FCC. He has to make and he doesn't normally make like edited tracks, right? I saw people not like this performance, and I'm like, I see their points, but for me, I still enjoyed the hell out of it. Some of the points,
degree of difficulty is so high.
It's very high, and quite honestly, unless you're making edited tracks, like clean tracks, like you make your explicit version, you make your clean version. For a Super Bowl halftime show, this is one of the things that people always talked about as far as like the why is never happened before, and seeing it in person, seeing it is like I enjoyed the hell out of it, but I also see what they were talking about. I see their points. That didn't hurt my entertainment of it, but like when people complain about it, I don't think it's all in bad faith. I do not.
I don't also think like I like this thing a lot, and I was very proud for a rapper doing that, and I don't think it was as deep as a lot of people were trying to make it. Like there was some symbolism and stuff, but it really was about his active music. It wasn't necessarily about his entire catalog. Right. If it was me, I would have played Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe. I actually agree with him not doing All Right, because I don't think All Right is like the message of, that's the message of 2015. That's not the message of 2025. It's like we need something more than just blind hope that we're going to be all okay.
Yeah. And also, I don't know, people forgot this. He already did a Super Bowl halftime show.
That's true.
So I was like, I was never expecting him to play that again.
Yeah. So the only thing I would have put in this Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, as you mentioned,
maybe Money Trees. I think people love Money Trees.
Yeah. I think that as you mentioned, he had so many different things to do. Mm-hmm. The editing himself on top is just one of the craziest things to do as a rapper. Mm-hmm. You know these songs, you do them, and then you're like, yeah, you're live doing it. You're doing the whole verse that you normally have memorized. You're going up and down that fucking football field running. His breath and wind and, his breath control is like out of this world.
Yep, that's another thing, right?
Like,
Rich, that's another thing. We talked about this before in different way, right? When up north niggas talk about Southern rappers can't rap, they have never sat down with pen and pad and tried to rap over a beat in this with a 70 BPM tempo. They're used to rapping stuff in the 80s and 90s. And then when you tell them to sit their ass down and rap over a slow beat, they're like, oh, I get it now. Most people don't ever pick up a pen and pad and learn how to rap or perform rap, let alone do a rap performance. They don't know how hard that is.
Right. And it's not like it's singing where you're carrying a melody.
No backing track,
and
no hype man to fill in the words either. Just himself.
This is just like, it's just like the adrenaline that's probably pouring through him as well.
Yeah.
On that, it's like he was probably having an outer body experience as he was doing all this shit. Like, I don't think you could tell him, does he particularly remember anything about it? Like, he'd be like, oh yeah, I know I gotta hit my spots here. But he was in the flow state, bro. He don't remember none of that shit. Like, he got off stage and he was like, well, I did it, I guess. Like, I like, the dancers kind of forming the American flag. Like, I like, I kind of like that stuff because I feel like this shit is like
Crip symbolism of the red, white, and blue. All the drop bodies. The Uncle Sam part is him basically being like the censorship thing. I got all that. Some of this stuff deeper than that, I didn't pick up, and like I haven't watched it again to be like, because I was in front of a crowd or whatever else. Like, I think I would appreciate it more watching it by myself, but like, I picked up enough to recognize where he was going, and he was being subversive in a way. Obviously, we talked about this when GNX came out, like, we're at the point now because of the level of genius he actually legitimately is, that people ascribe certain things to him that might have actually just be on accident. His art, like, you're just ascribing genius to him that, like, he may have not actually intended. It might have just been a beautiful accident that it came out that way.
When Peekaboo came on, that shit started like hitting different. Like, it was like there was like a good energy like coming off of that. Mm-hmm. Of course,
Euphoria
he does not like us.
It. I couldn't believe.
Yeah, me too. I jumped off the couch when he played Euphoria. I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, yes, like this song's to the Super Bowl. And then he kept teasing Not Like Us like a couple of times, and then it was like, I always knew he was going to do it. Yeah. There were a lot of people that tried to be way too smart or whatever. Like, that were giving interviews. Like, I think my mom sent me something about Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon said he wasn't going to do the song. And I'm talking to my mom on the phone that afternoon, and she's asking me, is he going to do Not Like Us? And I'm like, yes. Like, absolutely. There's no way he's not doing Not Like Us.
Like, imagine you win 5 Grammys a week ago for a song that came out within the last year. You get a Super Bowl halftime show, and you don't perform it. That would be insane.
Look,
like, I know people were like, Drake is suing UMG or whatever else. That ain't getting in the way of this. That was never getting in the way of that. Ever. Like,
so he does the first verse of Not Like Us. 70,000 motherfuckers
Man
say
in the
A
Garden.
minor.
I was shocked.
Yeah, I would have left Man in the Garden out, but whatever.
I mean, he changed up. He did the backing instrumental, like that wasn't the actual instrumental from they rapped on, like that was something different. But like, I knew the words. I was like, oh, he's okay. Like, the thing I liked about it was, I like his approach. I wouldn't have been mad if he played older stuff, right? Like, he did Damn Me to DNA. I fucking love Element, right? He didn't play Element, but like, he has a stadium tour to sell with SZA coming up this year, based off of the GNX album. He's gonna play GNX, like, so. He put out enough time for people to absorb it, for people that are actually ever going to care about it in good faith. It's a great album.
Yeah, it almost seemed like he had the album out in time just for the Super Bowl. It seems like, because he's like, it's almost like he needed a few more songs where it was like, okay, I can do it like this, and then he got like, like that second half of TV off. Like, I would have loved to hear the first half, but like that shit, it was like, yeah, this feels really big and worthy of the environment. Peekaboo, I think, rose to the level as well.
That's what I was getting at. He clearly did that for this moment, and like knew that people had eyes on him based off of what do you got to say or whatever post, you post not like us in that incredible weekend back in May, right? Or April, whatever that was. But he clearly, when he made TV off, looking back at it, he clearly knew he was in the Super Bowl halftime show with that. And I knew...
Bro, that shit is not like us part 2.
Right. But I mean, like, the specific, the second beat.
As far as the sound.
Like, just because, like, when I first heard it, I was like, it sounds like this is his victory lap. Like, this, ain't no, obviously the Biggie line, ain't no the Kings and his rap things, his siblings, I'm not sure, once I disappearing. But, like, once he goes through all that stuff and talks about, like, he just killed it. Like, that was like the victory lap. And then, like, he plays Not Like Us. And then he ends with TV. I was like, yep. Gen X and especially TV off, the second beat on TV off was specifically for, like, this one I'm ending this shit with. And, like, when he first came out with, like, the PlayStation controller, like, field, I thought it was just, like, I thought it was Squid Game.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was thinking of, and then you see the people running around like, okay, this is Squid Game. It might be both, right? It might be a double entendre, right? But once he ends and there's game over in the crowd, I was like, okay, it may have been both, but he was definitely heavily relying on, like, I run the game now. It's over for y'all, and it's over for you. And you know who I'm talking about.
And it seemed like, well, we should talk about Not Like Us. Like, he does that shit, looks in the camera. Hey, Drake, I hear you like I'm young. Like, and he bulldozed that first verse, 70,000, A minor.
That
and it's like,
too.
And it was just Serena Williams there, sea walking on this man.
Look, man, I haven't been so happy to see her in so long. Like, man.
It's crazy, man. Yeah. Like, and it's like, it was almost like the game over is also like game over to Drake. It's like, this is it. Like, I don't think we need any more on this is the epilogue. Like, this is like,
do you remember
close on the battle right here?
Do you remember the commercial, like, when he got the Super Bowl halftime show and he's like, and like, he's behind this gigantic American flag. And at the time we were like, man, with this aesthetic stuff, with the American flag aesthetic, with like Cowboy Carter and with him now, it's like, what the fuck's going on? Like, I like how they both used it, but like, it was just like, it's, he's like, this was like, he was talking about like, yeah, man, like, there ain't no round twos in this. He was talking about that at the time. And then he does this and it's like, this is how you use the American flag to show like, to divide the American flag and everything. And the Bloods and Crips stuff is like, man, like, he really put a lot of thought into this. I thought it was really well done. It's just the limitation of it is if you're not going to have a hype man up there, if you're not going to have a backing track, and you're not going to have clean versions, these are limitations that you're never going to be able to overcome. And that's going to be a thing.
Like the average rapper is not going to be able to, like, Lil Wayne would have passed out during this shit. Like, I saw so many people try to bring up Lil Wayne as this counterfactual, knowing it's only because of Drake and, the whole connection. But it's like, no, man, Lil Wayne wasn't built for this. Like, he doesn't have the records. He doesn't have, like, the...
he'd have been out there with...
Would not have the creativity.
He'd have been out there with just a DJ. He'd been out there just a DJ.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been enough. Not enough. Like the Kendrick Lamar thing says. And it's like... I kind of resent the entire Young Money, Cash Money, like, the Drake, Nicki, Wayne, like pyramid of people. And with Kendrick Lamar, the music that they made, the stuff where it's like they innately made it cool to say nothing in your music, as far as like, there's no political commentary. There's no reflection of society in your music at all. And it's just become cool with everyone, right?
Well,
hip-hop
okay.
resistant.
Hold on. I will fight against that in regards to Drake and talking about his sensitivity when it comes to women. I will say he did have stuff to talk about, but it was... my emotions and woe is me and I'm so
that's
sensitive.
A personal problem for him.
No. What I'm saying is there's something there. there's something there that Drake has beyond Wayne and Nicki Minaj. That's where I'm willing to shoot Drake bail on that compared to those other two. And I ain't got no problem with Wayne being just a gangster rapper because he was a great gangster rapper. I ain't got no problem with it. But that's just what it was. This is what it was. That's all it was.
But it's like it's like the people that have like, you know, it's like they've never really said something that is like stuck with you. Like, and if they did, it was on like very lower level. It's like I remember the Georgia Bush song that he did at the end of Dedication 2. It was a freestyle on someone else's beat. He didn't put that in his own music. He didn't sell that to the public. Like he didn't. And then Lord, just forget everything you know about who he was been taking pictures with the last few years and all that. But like even that, it's like, all right, like what is the reflection of what's going on out here? Mm-hmm. And there's been none of that in their music.
None of them would have rolled to that occasion. None of them. No.
None of like that's why Kendrick Lamar is connecting with people like that. You're just throwing stuff on there that quote unquote sounds good or is just music that we've enjoyed the last 10 years. It's not gonna be enough to really justify them being there. Like there's so much like art in Kendrick Lamar stuff. It's not even about that because this is not the greatest Super Bowl performance I've ever seen. Right. I would say it's like a 7.5 out of 10, maybe an 8 or whatever.
Yeah,
but like
I think all of Beyonce's, I think all of Beyonce's halftime appearances have smoked this.
Right, but it's like Kendrick Lamar has separated himself yet again.
Yeah,
to where it's like, yeah, man, if we're talking about the greatest rapper of all time, it's not going to be far before we get to him if we don't start with him.
Yeah.
Like, and it almost necessarily isn't about like his rap ability. It isn't about like, you know, his creativity, even though he has that in spades.
I think it is. Cause like, I think I think his versatility, like he's you know how people talk about Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah.
I think he is like one of the most versatile rappers of all time. And I think that like GNX kind of, you know, like it was already there in my mind, but like that brought it to the forefront. Cause like, this is not, you know, for the most of the album, right? This is not super thoughtful, like in-depth Kendrick. Like this is not Dying of Thirst. This is not, Sing About Me, right? This is most niggerish album. Straight up. Like, and I loved it. And like, you know, I never really thought I was past the point where thinking like I was ever going to get that. And then he gave it to me and it was like, I appreciative that like he decided to say, I can show you that I can do all this stuff. You know, people, you know, trying to get the slaves freed. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What are you talking about, bro? Like that was what was impressive for me. Is like he keeps adding different things to his catalog. It's all worth a listen. And like I think he's figured out like I can kind of, I don't want to say do this in my sleep, but like for those that doubted me as far as the hitmaker thing, you're gonna find out over this next run, however long this run goes. Like
it sounds like he's like trying to be like, all right, I really want to run it. Like
that's what it feels.
That's
like.
what it seems
and
like.
It feels like he's been put to that. He's been put on that. It feels like he's the next ace. Like as far as I don't mean as far as like critically, I mean like commercially. I think he's gonna be the commercial ace for rap, and I never would have thought that for him. Even though I thought he was, you know, him, Drake, J. Cole were like the guys for the last decade. I never thought that they were going to be like the landscape was going to move in a way to where like this is going to be the path for him now. And I think
now with PG Lang basically running all his own shit, he has incentive to keep going with it. He's not just like on TDE still, and you know he'll do an album when he does one and shit like that. I think he's going to be more active.
But where is the Kendrick Lamar album? I remember you like, what top 5 you where he only comes out every like 4 or 5 years. I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah, like bro, I was so frustrated with. I was like, bro, like what the fuck, like, because it's like
it's understandable. Yeah,
it's like where it was like while there's during these absences, it's like there's only so many people they're letting in the rap game, so it's like, all right, man, it's got to be you. Like at this point, it's not going to be Jay-Z anymore. He can't put himself on the Super Bowl stage.
That would be hilarious.
Can't do it.
I mean, look. I mean, you once read an article about how Triple H is the Jay-Z of rap. I mean, if that was true, Jay-Z would do that. It ain't like you can feel like Jay-Z ain't got a catalog to do that. Jay-Z could do that. That could have been Jay-Z's first. That could, the consulting jobs.
He could have did this 5 years ago.
Right, like I said, like, those head coaching consulting jobs when they be like, we hired we hired people to finance coach, and they look around and be like, me,
Doc Rivers,
it's me.
Yeah.
You hired someone you hired me to find a coach. I looked in the mirror. I said, why not I?
It'd be a year, man. We having a lot of trouble. Jay-Z comes to him, man. We having a lot of trouble, feeling, I had an idea, we could go with it. We can just push the button and get it going or whatever. Yeah. I'm right here. Hove. Yeah. The God's son. Yeah, not Nas.
No, what we mean as far as like Jay-Z, like he went from, we're not comparing the talents. We're talking about like, you were in this game.
Just parallels of the career.
Like parallels career. Went from top push rapper in the game to all of a sudden you're in charge of the shit. Like being the head of Def Jam, being the head of NXT, being the head of talent relations, right? Then all of a sudden like
dismantling your team, rebuilding it,
starting over again, like Rock Nation and all that shit going on. Now running WWE, like there's a lot of parallels. Oh, Beyonce, Steph McMahon, like. Yeah, there's a lot of parallels.
A lot of parallels.
When Rich wrote that back in the day. He wrote, what year was that? 2016?
2013.
13. Jesus.
The original one was 2013. I updated it in like 2017, but I lost that one because it was on Lords of Pain. So
okay. So Nif Lane says
it would be funny to do it again.
Check this out. Nif Lane said Jay-Z didn't take my fandom in the early 2000s. That's funny. He take my fandom in 2006 when he dropped Kingdom Come because that shit sucked. so yeah, he had a dud too. You can knock it off. Like we ain't on complete parallels. We just saying like there are some
Triple H's
resemblances.
Triple H's drug dealer era. It could be just him hanging out with all the druggies.
Good point. So the click. Yeah. Like all them dudes on them on
everything.
They're on Summers, right?
Yeah.
Well, they on them pain pills, whatever else. Like, hey man, they ain't too different from moving their work. They were trafficking. They were both trafficking.
Look, them niggas was transporting.
Yeah.
Like they had it in the van,
Brookhaven was like, oh my God, the click. Oh my God, Jay-Z released, Triple H released Jay-Z.
Bro, yeah. The more you think about it, bro, I fleshed the whole thing out, bro. If you do a search right now on Google,
I got one.
Go search Triple H, Jay-Z, rap, wrestling, Rich Latta, and my name. It'll pop up and read it. And this was written in 2013. So like, there's more I can pull from this.
Yeah. There's been another decade to make it look even closer. So I don't know if you missed this article, but it's like when they first started and they first got into the game, they were not the chosen ones at all.
Yes,
at all. And then via circumstance, they're able to finagle their way into being the guys.
Look, Nas out here was making questionable albums. Biggie dies or whatever. So like, Bret Hart going to WCW and Shawn Michaels gets out the way, like Biggie, gets out the way. Bro, there's so many.
Is the dynasty?
The dynasty is like DX, like after WrestleMania 14.
No, I was gonna be like, is the dynasty kind of like, all right, like okay, so because we're in the middle of the commercial thing on what's called. I'm gonna wait till they come back so I hit you with this one, right? So I got one for you. I think you can laugh at this one. So we're 3, 2, 1. I think we're back. Yeah, so we're back. So like back to the Jay-Z and Jigga Man comparisons. Like is like post WrestleMania 15 to SummerSlam 99. Is that the Dynasty album where it's like he got finds Kanye West, finds Just Blaze, right? and then like this, it's like something's brewing right now.
Lions
right?
Freeway.
Something's brewing, right? Something's in the water, and then all of a sudden, like the mega push comes. The what do you call it? I forgot what he used to call it, Triple H. As far as like he was unbeatable at that time. Where it's like, yep, next thing around the corner, the blueprint. Like it's like obviously like
all that shit kind of lines up. All at the same time.
Like, 2000. This nigga getting unfair help now. This nigga got Jay-Z. I'm sorry, Jay-Z out here with Timbaland, Bink, Just Blaze, and Kanye West produced the whole album. That shit's unstoppable. You can't do nothing with it. This man, look, that man got Stephanie now in his back pocket. This man done put on 20 pounds of muscle in 4 months. This man having the best match of his life all of a sudden with Mick Foley. I guess he got to get, maybe he got to try with Rock and Austin. It don't make no sense. That's the part that don't make no sense. Like, let's pretend Austin, when he broke his neck, never came back like Biggie never came back. Like one of them, like, you know, like there was a scarcity in a power vacuum for him to jump into at that time. And man, he damn sure did. Yeah.
If I can somehow like land the second one, the second column I did somewhere, I got it saved. I don't know.
Somebody is saying
wow.
Ether was his quad.
Ether was his quad. That's great. But yeah, let's keep going, man. Let's talk about these releases.
Okay.
So, since it was more recent,
WWE has cut more people.
Oh yeah, lots of them. I got a list here.
How long was the list? I only saw like a half a dozen, maybe. Right? There's more.
There's like at least 12.
Oh wow.
So, people have pointed this out. I feel like it is. I don't know.
Post-Rumble?
The pattern here, like the pattern of this thing is like there's a lot of LGBTQ people
I
that
thought
are
you
getting
meant like
released.
a pattern as far as like the calendar, because I remember that we used to be a time where like they will cut people after WrestleMania back in the day.
Right. There are people of color released here, but I don't know. I don't know if it's as definitive yet for me to be able to be like, boom. Like it's not like we have a year's worth of like someone not getting booked or something. Like, yeah, it's not like that. So I'm keeping my eye on it though. So let's go through the list here. Duke Hudson, AOP, Blair Davenport, who you guys know is 2019 Stardom One Nation Radio Wrestler of the Year, B. Priestley, Cedric Alexander, Paul Ellering, Sonya Deville, Giovanni Vinci, which is known as Fabian Eichner.
Yep.
Awesome wrestler.
Yep.
Isla Dawn, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, and Elektra Lopez were all released. I think I'd have interest in 2 of these people, maybe 3. As far as like,
names you'd be interested in?
I'd be interested in Giovanni Vinci, Cedric Alexander, and B. Priestley.
Okay.
Everyone else, TNA on Spike TV, and this is right here for WWE, and we gonna ride them out, y'all. I don't know the rest of the words what R-Truth was saying, but
I didn't know none of them words. I was like, what the hell is he doing? Is he freestyling? What's going on?
Bro, you never heard that?
No,
bro.
Rich, I never watched TNA.
Bro, this is a famous wrestling video, bro. This nigga R-Truth is sitting in the car and he's rapping over to T.I. what you know about that beat. And it's like TNA on Spike TV. And this right here is for WWE. And we gonna come in at y'all. Some shit like that. It's funny as fuck. Oh my God. I gotta send it to you.
So I must admit, Rich knows this. Y'all might not. But when R-Truth was the challenger against John Cena in 2011 to go to Capital Collision, he dressed up as a Confederate soldier suit. I have never forgiven R-Truth for that. So anything involving R-Truth, I really don't give a fuck about. No, not like I'm wishing ill will towards him, but like, nah, man, I can't ever let that one go. And that's a me thing. I just can't let that one go. So like anything involved, so if there was some like a thumbnail popped up for me to watch on YouTube, I'm sure I clicked away from it as fast as possible. Sorry. So
I'll send it to you.
So you mentioned, please don't.
Oh,
So-
I find it very funny. Like the Good Brothers, like they had like I think one of them had delayed surgery for like, or they got surgery, trying to put this shit off for like 6 more months.
Are you
So, like,
serious?
Bro, one of them had surgery recently. I know that for sure. But
As soon as he got that surgery, your ass is gone.
Bro, I was like, hold on. Like, I was like, bro, the Good Brothers are going to find a way. I am not worried about them finding a way to get a check in pro wrestling. They know everybody.
So, you mentioned the names of people you think should get a shot or should get a look or whatever. What was the way you put it? People on the roster that listen names. You said you would do something.
Oh, I said people I would be interested in, like if it was AEW. I would say Giovanni Vinci, Cedric, or B Priestley.
Gotcha. That was the term. Interested in. Now, I'm interested in one of them, but for different reasons. I am very, very interested in Electra Lopez. Very, very interested. But that has nothing to do with pro wrestling. So I don't know, what to do about that. If she finds somewhere to land, good for her. If she ends up as I think it was Carissa Rivera back on the Indies, I'll be sure to continue following her journey on Instagram. So yeah.
I think
B.
AOP's
Priestley
done in this town.
Sorry?
AOP's kind of done in this town, I think.
I mean, remember when they were on that? Remember when they did that show with people that were cut from WWE that fell through in the UK? It had like Nia Jax on there and Braun Strowman. They were on that thing.
They could go back to scamming.
That's what I'm getting at. That's what I was getting at. That was a scam. So yeah.
WES. Wrestling Entertainment Series.
Yeah. So
they booked the shit. Yes.
Yeah. So, wow. So yeah, man. Like,
I think B could walk anywhere in the world.
You say say again?
She can walk anywhere in the world.
I mean, she has options depending on like whatever the political thing is right now. Like Marigold will want her because Rossi loves her.
That's true.
Stardom will welcome her back because obviously her history with all the wrestlers there, and they and like storyline wise, they could because they've been teasing it like a possible Momo thing of like her turning back to not being a heel anymore. So like they could do the Momo friendship thing. They could do even Konami or whatever else because they were tag champs once before. Kirk, Azumi, all the old Queen's Quest stuff they could do with her there. And also like she was always a good Stardom tag wrestler. Like as far as her being the push she got in 2019, that would never happen now. But that's neither here nor there. And AEW, I don't know what that situation is or whatever else. Because obviously she was there before, I don't know what kind of terms they ended on. I don't know if they would want her back, but like it's not like based off of what I've seen her do over the years, that she's not talented enough to be on that roster.
Right.
We'll see. And then she might end up in TNA. Who knows? I don't think she's gonna be out of work for long. That's basically what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Wherever she lands, I don't think she's out of work for long.
Cedric, this is a guy that has wrestled amongst, the guys, the American guys of this generation, pretty much like going back a decade plus now. A lot of talent in the ring for sure.
Yeah.
I could easily see him coming in,
that Ibushi match will live forever.
Yeah. I could easily see him, doing something where, he's part of a group, he's part of a tag team, maybe a single even. I think Ring of Honor is wide open. I think this guy still has a lot of pro wrestling in him.
I think that's where he starts to be shows up in like Tony Khan wrestling. They put him in the ring. They put him in Ring of Honor and let him figure out where he lands there first. I think that'd be the wise place. I don't think you put him in AEW.
I think there's a lot of pro wrestling left in him, despite what he may even think of himself at this point. But you got a fresh slate now, so the chains are off. Everyone else? Oh, Giovanni Vinci. That brother is insane. that brother is like, you can put him on it. Like, you need more people like him, bro. This man should be calling New Japan Pro Wrestling now. This man should be a war dog.
I don't know what his situation is or why he's not like, you know, like why did they break up the him and Kaiser's tag team in Imperium? Why did they ever break that up?
There's a lot of rumors on that. There's a lot of rumors on that.
Anything we can talk about? Or anything worth talking about?
A lot of the salacious variety.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you said, do they touch Cedric because of the Swole stuff? Is the Swole situation heat gone away with TK? I don't know, but I presume that Big Swole would go back if, you know, she was asked. But I mean, I don't know. But you know, I think she's like kind of medically disqualified from pro wrestling. So I mean, Cedric, I don't think that would stop him from going there.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this: like, if he were to go there, like, there would be a lot of people on his ass to show some proof of, like,
basically stand up.
Yeah, some proof of him of some
prove your love.
Some proof of there was some straightening going on between him and the billionaire, which is fucking ridiculous.
I'll straighten them.
Yeah,
I'll straighten them out. You know?
Yeah, you know. But you know, outside of that part, like, I mean, there's a role for him somewhere in Tony Khan Pro Wrestling. Gotta be.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of motherfuckers. There are a bunch of motherfuckers that were never as good as he ever was that are around, that are getting paid. Why can't he?
Correct. Sonya, that's a tough one. She's been around a while, but a lot of people have been around a while, so never really got there. You know, as a worker, always had the live show charisma. I would say always had a unique way to present herself. She definitely
had live show charisma in them suits. She certainly did. Yes.
Look, there was an audience.
Not all charisma is the same. Not all charisma is meant for the same people.
Look, she was not aiming at our demographic here, but like,
but we will not deny the effectiveness.
We appreciate the work.
Yes, we do not deny the effectiveness. She was out here. What do you call it? She's out here in the home runs with that demographic.
Hey, I'll say this. There's two ways this could go. She could never work in pro wrestling again, and she could like go holla at Mandy, and then like, you know, like everything they was always acting like they was always acting like they was about. They could share it with the world now. There's nothing to stop them. You know, or she could take her ass to Japan. One or two options.
I have no comments for your comments. Let's just move on from Sonya Deville. I was having fun talking about the power suits. You took it there. You wow. Wait a second.
Duke Hudson.
When that home invasion thing happened with Sonya Deville, wasn't Mandy there?
Yeah, I think she was.
Yeah, man. I forgot some details of that fucked up story. And the dude was trying to run up or broke into their house or one of their houses when both of them were there. That's fucking nuts. That's insane.
It's a run Eichner versus Swerve like it's 2018 Evolve. That's what.
I had no idea he was from Evolve. I had no clue.
He came in through the Cruiserweight Classic originally, which is like
Evolve
that's
City,
right.
That's right. Much. Yeah, that's why I was purple.
But yeah, moving over to AEW. Oh, and the Chase U guy, Duke Hudson, been there a long time. Cut for mysterious reasons, seemingly. He had a whole group that got over. Guess they just didn't see him as a main roster guy for whatever reason it may be. I don't know. AEW. I don't know how to necessarily say this, but these people disappeared from their roster page. They were released. Malakai Black, Miro, and Ricky Starks, who showed up actually minutes before this show started recording in NXT, cutting a promo almost where he did not say his name. He basically allowed the crowd to basically say, hey, you guys know who I am. But Malakai Black, Miro, Ricky's kind of in a different boat than the other two for me. Whatever. I feel like Ricky left a lot of what ifs there with him, right? His career could have went a couple different ways in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
Turned out this is one of the results of the simulation. This is one of the endings he got, right? And, we talked about it on FOH and all that, some of the stuff that's out there, that people, think, but ultimately we don't really know exactly what went down. But I gotta say, there is some level of relief for me here where I strangely have only ever seen somebody that I feel like is almost like a mundane wrestler, like, dime a dozen guy, great 10-minute TV wrestler or whatever. Like, I don't see this guy as a main eventer or anything, but the passion in the arguments for him specifically and what he was going to be was just unlike anything I've seen since Cody Rhodes, actually. So
Cody's a lot better than him, though.
What's up?
Cody's a lot better than him, though.
Yeah. Like, Cody's like, Cody leveled up too, but like at the different stages like they were in, it was just like, I don't know, man. Like, and then also Ricky's a lot older than Cody was at those times.
Yeah. A lot smaller.
It just a lot smaller,
a lot blacker,
a lot less pedigree, and a lot less like family connection and shit like that. Like, so the Ricky Starks thing of him not being a world champion or him being pushed as his main eventer, it always fucking confused me because I'm like, this guy's mid. Like, he just was, y'all. He's in mid. Like Bomani Jones been saying, mid is not an insult. Mid is mid. It's in the middle.
Right.
That's where I kind of saw, him petering out at. We have a direct comparison for him. And I feel like it kind of says it all. Like, when you just look at the other people in the promotion, like, that came in like around the same time. Some people have headlined Wembley. It's pretty easy, right? We knew he was headed to WWE. That's fine. He showed up. He's in NXT. I don't know how long that'll be, but hopefully he achieves his wildest dreams and is a push superstar, and maybe they get a black person to book on pay-per-view. Maybe. I don't know. But
we'll see. I kind of think that's reserved for Trick Williams, but we'll see.
We'll see. As far as Ricky, like, else is like, I don't know. I think 20 people on the AEW roster could die, and then like that would be like the time we would push the button on Ricky Starks for me. But
you think who are
we supposed to shove out the way, James?
Rich,
I think this
20?
is a great. I don't know, man. Like.
Okay, Ray Phoenix.
It's like, who are we supposed to shove
Ray
out
Phoenix
the way?
Is on the roster, right? Or do we not count him because
technically
he's
yes,
in Guantanamo Bay?
Is technically in Guantanamo Bay.
But do we not count him because he's in Guantanamo Bay?
Absolutely, we count him.
Okay, then.
Because like he was never like above Ray Phoenix in the hierarchy. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Like,
are we supposed to push Konosuke Takeshita out the way?
Fletcher,
Swerve, Kenny,
Hangman,
Jericho,
MJF,
Moxley,
Cesaro, or Claudio, Pac,
Jack Perry, all these people like
Darby
over these years, Darby, Sammy,
Penta.
Oh no, man.
Yeah.
Penta. FTR. Are these all people that we were just throwing to the side? Danielson, when he was there.
Yeah.
You're just gonna throw him out the way? I mean, the chat is lighting up with names right now. Bandito is here now. Are we going to have Ricky Starks or Bandito?
Okay, Wasabi King. Okay, Adam Cole before his leg injury, you're correct. Since then, nah, I think I'll take Ricky instead.
I'll take Ricky over.
Like
Oh,
ever
since the
since
injuries.
that, bro, that knee injury or that leg.
Will
ankle injury
Ospreay.
is- we didn't mention Ospreay.
Roderick Strong, Kyle Fletcher.
Oh yeah,
Or excuse me, Kyle O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
of course. None
Like-
of these guys can. Or hell, when it happened, when they had that match, when he first got in here, right? Jay Lethal, and Ricky Starks. Jay Lethal's
Lethal.
better than him.
Correct. Mark Briscoe.
Right.
Like there's just so many guys that just like as a worker where it was like, I don't think he holds up, and
We
I
didn't
think
mention
his
Jay White.
promos.
We didn't mention Jay White.
Jay White. Look, Kazuchika Okada.
Yeah.
Like it's like, all right, man. Like I think a lot of his promos also got overrated as well. Because we saw him with live mics, and it always wasn't the MJF promo that everyone shares. Orange Cassidy, how could I forget that guy?
Yeah. Jesus.
And it's like I think he had one promo after a while. It was like I'm just complaining about how much I haven't been pushed or whatever, and it was just like, I don't know, man. It was almost like some Dolph Ziggler. It should have been me shit. Like, and it was Young Bucks. Yeah, let's just shove them out the way.
Yeah.
And it was just like, nah, man. Like, ultimately, he needs to go for the better of his career at the end of the day, because that's who this is about. Not about me as a fan who can does all the ranking and shit like
another
that.
good
But
one.
it's
Rouge, Mortos, another good one.
oh yeah. Are we just gonna bring in all the luchadors now?
No, let's stop. Let's stop. Because there was already a. Let's stop. Rich, is he better than Shelton Benjamin?
Oh,
Yeah, he just got here like 3 months ago. Sorry. Yeah.
and it's like, hey man, like he will get a fresh environment, he will get a fresh look.
Yeah.
And really that's what you can ask for at this point. And whatever happened, he went home. He wasn't exactly quiet about it because you would always hear this stuff, but he was leaning into it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep it
and I'll give him this. He made enough of an impact to where like he showed up in other place and people knew his name and they popped for him. And like there are people that are AEW fans that will root for him and may check out NXT or whatever else over there. That's a win in itself. Like there is enough people in support online that you go from one place to the other one, and people not only you go to other place, people know exactly who the fuck you are. That you made an impact. He did his job. Like he did his job to where he can go somewhere else and get paid in this wrestling game when 6 years ago, 7 years ago, that was not even a thing. He won. Like that's the thing about all this stuff. Penta going to WWE, Ray Phoenix will go, like Cody going over there, Swerve, Mercedes, Hurt Syndicate, all in AEW. Tony Storm. Like there is a place where if one person says no, you can take your ass somewhere else and get a shot to have someone tell you yes somewhere else. That's a win, and you still getting money in your pocket. That's the win. That there's two of these. That's what I want to come back to when it comes to this. If they tell you no somewhere else, if you want to go somewhere else to prove it, there's another place for you to actually go prove it now for real, not just take your ass to TNA for basically like almost like almost like you going to junior
like
college,
1/8 of the money,
like you going to junior college transfer or whatever else. Like back in the day when you had to sit out for a year before you can go back or go somewhere else to get back into the D1. Like there are another place for you to go. So yeah. Or you got to go to the other side of the other fucking side of the world, 13,000 miles away, to Japan. This is a win.
Yeah.
This is a win for him.
Yeah. So like I kind of put him in a different box than the other two because as far as I know, like, was there, some issues with Ricky potentially, like as far as like, his booking and stuff like that. Yeah, there was that, but like, it wasn't like.
Well, Malakai back at Miro.
It didn't get to that level.
No.
I think we should, keep it stacked there. Let's talk about Miro.
Like the shit with Ricky Starks is like that stuff that I've heard. Like it's forgivable. It's way more forgivable than was than some of these roadblock kind of shit that was going on with Miro. Yeah.
Yeah, like Miro. Apparently, it was not just Andrade's last match. It was also Miro's last match at World's End. He stole money. Quite
Rich,
frankly,
Rich, there's somebody on the roster right now that had a match for World's End. It got canceled, and they still have wrestled less recently in AEW than Miro.
I don't think we will see him around much more.
Yeah. I mean, someone mentioned that they were done with them in a promo, and well, we don't know if that was him talking about that or that was him talking on behalf of the company. I'll say this.
I feel like if we ever see Keith Lee again, right?
I didn't say the name, but if you want to go there, let's do it.
I'm gonna say his name. I'm gonna put his name on it. Keith Lee. If we ever see him again, it will be for one more match.
Okay.
And but I think that Miro stole lots of money. I mean, he didn't do anything illegal,
Yeah.
So by that, but you can feel how you want to feel about it. But
I will say this:
as far as like my enjoyment, I checked out of the Miro experience when Sammy Guevara beat him, and then I was like, this guy clearly don't want to play ball or anything. He just doesn't want to lose anyone. And I think a lot of the stuff with him, being the TNT champion, he was beating jobbers in an entertaining fashion. So it went a lot further. But when you lay this shit down on paper, this was not no great TNT title reign. Like, as far as like when you add it up, like the promos were entertaining. And it was just cool to kind of see him in a new environment. But ultimately, this guy's a territory guy that came along 15 years too late that would have made a ton of money with Hulk Hogan. But he came here in AEW and was like, it seemed like he thought he was above this place as far as like working with people and everything like that. And he was ultimately not cut out for AEW because you gotta be like, I think Swerve in a promo said something very interesting, actually. We'll talk about it later with him and Ricochet. Said AEW will reveal who you really are, right?
Oh, he said to Ricochet,
yeah. And if you're not creative, if you don't have ideas, if you don't understand the fan base, AEW will bring these things out of you. This applies to Miro. Had an awesome squash match with Fuego del Sol.
He had some absolute highlights. Like one of his last match, that shit with Hobbs, that shit was great. Like that's one of those things. That's one of those things where it's like we're not. There really isn't when Ricky Starks or Malakai or it's not like this person was this person completely sucked his whole tenure, none of that stuff. Like no, these people had moments in AEW and then or had like runs or stretches like that tag run with Big Bill that like we find out Ricky Starks really enjoy doing, or with Hobbs, like that shit was actually good. Like him having a match with Danielson, like those shits were fucking great. It didn't work out, and the thing with Miro was like it's just stubbornness, lack of vision, whatever you want to call it, lack of being able to see the read the tea leaves or whatever else, see where shit's going. It stinks. But like he absolutely, him and Darby was a blast. Him and Guevara was a blast. Him and Hobbs was a blast. Him and Orange Cassidy was fun at times. I didn't like that arcade shit they did during the pandemic, but like he had fun stuff, and some of the squads were fucking awesome. So like. Yeah, man, I wish it would have been more, but it didn't work out that way. And it didn't work out that way for a long time.
When you got an aversion to when you got job-itis, it just don't work. Speaking of that, Malakai Black. I've buried this man several times on this show.
Yep.
Packed him up.
Is the last time we saw him in the match with Adam Cole? Or was it D. Russell?
Yes. That was it. James, and then he yelled at us for assuming we saw something that we thought we didn't. This was a fucking farewell. Like we were saying it at the time. Like it was like, it was weird.
And sure enough,
he was gone. So it's like, and man, he did the job, for Cole, the fake job, for Cole. Where he's like, I decided, I've here let you beat me, finish me off. And What a weird tenure.
Rich.
The Hounds of Hell have gone off to the races.
Rich.
What's up?
November 6th, 2024, 9:16 p.m. I know Malakai Black ain't leaving the territory, ? James Boyd 87. I tweeted
was
that,
never seen again.
I tweeted that in real time.
Amazing. So, like, all right, how about this? I got one suggestion for Malakai Black. You put over Adam Cole, right? I'll give it to you. I'll even take the qualifier, the fake job off, right? Why don't you just put your group over? What stopped you from putting them over on the way out?
You left with no notice. Name change.
Hollow.
And it's funny, they're all being utilized immediately too. Now that he's gone.
And there, look, we got those weeks of the "we don't need this motherfucker" promos and all that. You could have cut a promo and announced that you could have found a way to say it. You're creative, right? You have all these ideas.
Another one, right? He was still around when Julia Hart had that return match against Jamie Hayter. And that match fucking sucked. Then they had the rematch, and the match was actually fucking good. After he was officially gone, basically.
Bro, it's almost like a dark cloud has been lifted.
Yeah,
Buddy Matthews has been reinvigorated. He's been reinvigorated and looking great, like the last month.
That match with Fletcher,
Brody King.
Brody King's always been Brody King though.
Brody King's never had a problem.
It was never an issue. And I remember at the time after we talked about this was the match with when Colt broke his leg, that cage match, right? And I said to you, like, does he not whether he understands this or not, or whether or not he, whatever's going on, does he not realize, like, him doing this and going this way about it is making it difficult for Brody King? I mentioned that. Like, it's actually, like, clipped up on the YouTube. It's like,
yeah. And
then immediately he's gone and now he's about to get put to work. After already or a second successful C2 run.
Look, and Malakai Black, this guy is pushing 40. We know how
he's really injured too. A lot of tread on the tire.
Look, a lot of tread on the tire. We know. I see him much more of an Andrade going back to WWE. How the crowd, like, are they going to remember him? Are they going to give a fuck? Like if it's like, all right, what'd you really do on the main roster? Sit in a room?
Andrade, Andrade, when he was in WWE, his first run, he actually had memorable matches on SmackDown with like Rey Mysterio Jr. and Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles. Malakai wasn't doing that. Malakai came up right into the pandemic basically and was doing that weird thing, or the eye thing with Seth Rollins, and then the closet thing. Yeah, maybe the interest gets to pop, but like if people remember the interest because the interest was raw, but like I don't. But on the main roster, he wasn't treated like NXT. Aleister Black was a whole different thing from main roster Malakai Black. Like after they broke up the Black and Shea thing, it just went left. They should have never broke with that team. They should have never broke with that team until they figured out what the fuck he was doing. He was broken with them on their own way, and then they both,
I cannot envision him getting. I cannot envision him getting any kind of sustainable push back in WWE unless just Triple H just loves the guy. That's the only hope he has, right?
I mean, even
then, it's difficult because how many of those guys, like, bro, we're about to go into a WrestleMania season full of politicking and multi-man matches, and it's gonna fuck their momentum up because he's not gonna want to choose between these people. And you can see traces of that at the Royal Rumble when they were doing all these like multiple people eliminations and all this weird shit like protecting people. And then there's rumors about this Drew McIntyre thing. They're rebooking because it's like, you're going to end up with Damian Priest? Like, huh? Like, and
I thought it was a work shoot thing, but okay.
Yeah, like, I don't know, man. Like, I find it hard. And then look, Ricky's coming in. Miro's probably going to go back. Black Penta just got there and he's working on main event already.
That's what I was getting at with the Malakai Black thing. Like if they don't have an answer on Phoenix anytime soon, you could pair up Penta with Malachi Black because of the look and run a demonic. Not demonic. Actually, I'll do it because of Kenny Omega on BT. A Satanist tag team. You could do that. You could, and that could be their answer to what Death Triangle was until Ray Phoenix shows up. You could.
Speaking of that, we need BT back for 1 week to banish Malachi Black back through the portal that he emerged from, like with the Satanism,
That shit was funny. He called him a Satanist.
Fuck out of here.
And I'd be like, he's not a Satanist. He's like, well, what's that on his back then, James?
Like, he's not a Satanist. He just loves the devil. Like, what?
He's not a Satanist. He just has a tattoo of the devil across his back, the whole length of his back. I can't argue that. I just don't think most people just come out and say like, most people just aren't saying this. Most people just like, but I can't argue once you have that on your back. I can't. Like, Kenny Omega has been funny about some shit that's actually common knowledge in the wrestling game that we don't know. It's open secret. And then it's like they're praising the hells above and shit. We don't know.
He walked by that nigga backstage and he got candles lit and with his head on the ground and shit. Like, hey man, why are you, like, what is this circle and this star? Like, What the fuck is going on here?
Why does he smell like sulfur every time we walk by him? He stank. He stank. His own essence smell like he don't brush his teeth. All right, man, we move on. We keep shit on Malachi Black.
What's with the cross, man? Yeah. Oh man. But yeah. Anyway, let's move forward, man. Let's talk about AEW in Atlanta and like the subsequent kind of week. Few weeks that AEW I think is quietly putting together where it's like, I see the wheels turning, my nigga. I see the wheels turning. I see things happening. I was in the building for the Atlanta show. Got to, walk around backstage, had the AEW catering again. It was awesome. I love it every time I can have it. Got to talk to a lot of wrestlers, really just more than I can name. If like just sitting next to Nick Wayne, just for so long, we don't even say anything to each other.
Don't even tell him. Let them know all the rest of you meet on your 900 line.
Yeah, I should open up
the infographic right there for your 100.
Let me tell you about the conversation I had with Hangman Page. You can call in right now. But it was cool. Like, so like I always feel fortunate to be able to like go backstage and like talk to people. I actually got to meet Marina Shafir for the first time, which was pretty cool. Because that, like, I did her theme music, but I'd never talked to her before. She was really cool. I was in the elevator with. Theme music? It's probably going to change.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. Also, when you told me you met her, I was like, was your head on a swivel? Because danger is around the corner wherever Marina shows up these days, right? You'd be like, hey man, he called me, be like, yeah man, I'm at the hospital. What happened? I mean, I saw, all I saw was Marina. I saw her smirk, and the next thing I know, the lights went out. Yeah. Claudia put one of them ham hocks on you.
So like I always feel fortunate to go backstage because it's like, all right, I know I do the show and I talk about a lot of these people, but then I like actually get to kind of like, talk to them or whatever. It's just like, or tell people, hey, I enjoyed your work. This is, something, I remember about your career or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And it's always like cool. And, I had a good time. Saw a lot of people backstage. I met Trinidad James backstage or whatever. That was pretty cool.
Wasn't he with like OJ the Juice Man too?
Yeah, OJ Juice Man was back there too. I didn't get to say what up to him, but
okay.
Yeah, but tons of people. My man Kevin Knight was back there. I hung out with him a lot of the night.
You should have said
about a lot of stuff.
Line.
Yeah, just tons of people. Just like everyone you can think of, pretty much. Like I have not talked to TK yet, but I imagine that will be happening one day. So. Yeah, but it was really cool to see just the vibe kind of of the area. So it's like yeah, man, like, I don't know if it's as chaotic as everyone seems, you know, about this company. Sometimes everyone seemed like really kind of chill, but, you know, it was fun. Got to, you know, go out in the arena and all that, and this arena was smoking. Like, it was like on fire the whole night.
Crowd was hot all night.
To the brim.
It felt like one of those Texas Dynamites.
Yeah, like, and this was like this was a statement show, I would say. I think there were and I'm going to give the credit on this one to Swerve and Ricochet on this. Mm-hmm. Like, they advertised this match for weeks. They drove those tickets. They delivered in the ring. We'll get to that in a little bit, but like, this was their crowd. And it was just like, everyone knew like, this felt like a big kind of tentpole show. First time in the building. They were in College Park, and it was like, yeah, man, like, they're gonna walk in here and really own the night. So like, when the show started, appreciate you, Sam. They were doing a big brawl with the Death Riders and Jay White, Cope, and they brawled all throughout the thing. So funny thing, I was actually backstage as that was happening. I passed by this hallway, and they made us they pushed us all the way to the back, and as they fought all the way by. So it was pretty funny to see that up close. And then they do basically a promo in the ring where Cope challenges Moxley. Moxley says he doesn't deserve anything.
He's correct.
And then Jay White is like, what's up? We could do it 2-on-2 Aussie style. And you know, in Australia, we're gonna do it in front of Sam Brown. He did not mention that on the broadcast, unfortunately, but
hey, check your
after that.
Check your messenger real quick before we move on.
Shall. Let's see. See you, Alan. I saw him. I did not speak to him. So after that, they showed Buddy Matthews and Kazuchika Okada. He basically said, Okada, you never defend the AEW Continental Championship. Okada calls him a bitch. Buddy says, how about you prove you not no bitch? And then they agreed to run it in Australia for that title.
Yep.
After that, Ospreay came out. And, you know, he came out and he said he was fighting a mystery man. So, inside baseball here. I was walking around, and then I saw Mark Davis backstage, and I was like, he's the mystery man. Like, yeah, I just put 2 and 2 together, right? And then I was like, I ain't seen him in a minute. And then, but I didn't think, you know, twice of it. And then, Don Callis walked out, and then he introduced Davis, and it was basically, he was like, yeah, on commentary, he's like, really, this nigga's just a disgruntled employee, and I've had him under contract this entire time, and he's been acting up, but it's time for him to come back to work, essentially. Bro, the Don Callis family is like the $1 million corporation, bro. Like, I swear to God, bro. And he's the $1 million man. It's like, yeah, nigga, you need your main event wrestlers to be occupied with like niggas for months at a time to fight the entire corporation. Here, nigga, bro, the Undertaker versus the $1 million corporation might be the defining feud of 1995.
Oh my God, you gotta put down that fucking superstars, man. You gotta put that shit down, Rich. That shit was 20 years ago.
The nigga fought everybody, bro. The nigga fought Bundy.
I said 20 years ago. It was 30 years ago. I'm sorry. Yes. Jesus Christ.
Yes, Kama Mustafa melting down the gold chains. Yes. And tons of other $1 million corporation members. Tatanka, like.
I forgot Tatanka's in this shit. Damn.
Anyway, Mark Davis comes back to work. And Ospreay's in disbelief. He like, I can't believe my friend is changed on me, bro. Like,
yep.
Ospreay, hilarious dude, by the way. Absolutely a clown. But they have a match, and like any other Mark Davis Will Ospreay match, goes off pretty raw. And, you know, Will, like, Don is doing this shit where he's jumping off commentary, like, he's going to break up pins. Yep. And Will ended up getting the win. I think he got the Styles Clash, I think he won it with.
No, it was Davis had the advantage. He rips off the middle turnbuckle in one of the corners, and then whoever the ref was, I think it may have been Bryce. He stops him, and then he turns around and eats a hidden
That's right. To the face, right? Yeah.
Yep. And that's how he gets pinned.
So after the match, like Mark Davis kind of just rolls out the ring and he just looks dejected. And he's on his knees. Kenny Omega's music hits after Ospreay thanks the fans, and this Kenny shit cracked me up.
Oh my god,
he was
at the end of his promo,
bro. So I'm standing in the back at this time, right? So Kenny walks out, thanks the audience, cuts a pretty funny promo, whatever. Basically says, you know, we gonna run it, essentially, blah blah blah.
Well, he gives Mark, he extends a bit of an olive branch to Mark Davis, saying like,
"Oh yes,
yeah,
bro." I think they were talking about this on Tunnel Talk. It was like, bro, like this nigga Kenny. I kind of looked at it like he was out here trying to like save like a child, like essentially like, hey man, like I know you on dope right now. Like if you ever want to free yourself from that, you know, there are people here that care for you. Like that's what this shit said.
Well, to be fair,
like after school special.
To be fair, his tag team partner is one of those people that was hooked up to that narcotic too.
Yeah.
Like, and also you got to keep in mind, once upon a time, Kenny Omega was once, you know, partaking in that callus. Yeah. So you're like, man, this is like,
it's like he understands.
Yeah, this is Callous Family Anonymous here. Like, we trying to recover all these people that have lost their way.
Just so funny. So this nigga hits the goodbye bang. I'm backstage with all these people kind of watching it, but like we don't know the pyro is coming or whatever. They hit that shit. That's like the loudest sound I've ever heard in my life. Everybody that's surrounding me, Mercedes, fucking Harley Cameron, Orange Cassidy, fucking just everyone you think of back there, right? They all fucking like go like. Just completely shocked and like they heard gunshots and shit, bro. I didn't fucking move. I was like I was just normal. I was the only person that didn't react in a sea of like 35 people back there or whatever. And I was like, I don't know, bro. I guess I just done heard too many loud noises in my life. Like I didn't,
bro.
Like these people work here and they were startled. Like
bro.
That shit was so loud. And then they kept fucking hitting all the pyro over and over like it was Kevin Nash.
Bro,
forget.
Back on TV. No. It wasn't even the Cody Kevin Nash like spiraling pyro. It was all, bro. This was like the greatest Harlem Heat interest pyro ever. It was the number of flames, just boom, 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 flame. Like, god damn. Is five time coming out?
Bro, it was so funny,
it was
bro.
Hella
like,
flames. Hella flames.
And it was like they didn't tell him they was gonna do this. Like,
he said that too.
Like, this had to be a rib.
Yeah, he was like, I wasn't expecting that. And the crowd chuckled. Because it was like the same thing when like, he did the promo in Nashville where he's like, and I'm getting down because I'm afraid of heights. It's like the same thing. It's like he popping me with this like what do you call it? Like unintentional comedy? Shit's hilarious.
Oh, you know what else popped me? That nigga said he's making his return to the ring in AEW in Australia.
That's a Brian Cage. The fuck?
I don't even watch it, bro. I'm like, nigga, I know you don't watch the show. You don't remember you was on the show, nigga. Like,
hey man, Rich, CTE. Wrestlers forget. I forgot. Can remember a 25 like duck exchange slip sequence or whatever else for the closing stretch in a 27-minute match, right? But can't remember that he was on fucking Dynamite 3 weeks ago versus Brian Cage.
Greatest wrestler ever.
CTE.
Love him. Yeah, so they wrapped that up. And it was pretty funny. After that, the Hurt Syndicate walked to the ring. And nigga, when this music started hitting,
we hurt people.
The building was shaking. Bro, that shit was so loud when they were chanting that shit. I'm still backstage at this time, whatever. I'm like, yo, that is a reaction. And then MVP basically comes out there. These niggas suited and booted. I walked in the elevator with Lashley and Benjamin, and I was like, they big, but they seem bigger on TV or whatever.
That
but
makes
like,
sense.
Lashley's not gigantic in the way you think, but then he puts the suit on, and it's like a Hulk or whatever. Like, nigga was walking around just like in a regular hoodie, before the show. And I was like, huh. And I was like, that's interesting. And I was like, he's not as tall as I thought he would be, but then, he transforms, and it's like, look, the aura is real.
Like, the pump thing is real. Like I don't know if people don't understand, or people do recognize it's like, because it's the old bodybuilder thing where it's like, once you get a pump going, like, you just look gigantic compared to what you normally are, like, walking around. Like, it's like, you'll see, like, not necessarily even videos, but like, if you see people, like, you see football players do interviews or whatever else, you know their stats for their height and weight or whatever else, and they're wearing like a t-shirt or whatever else, and it's like their off day, and they're doing an interview like on a video call, and they're like, look kind of smallish. And then all of a sudden, like, next time you see them on Sunday, and they've warmed up, they got a pump going, and all the shit's activated or whatever else, and they got the pads on, they look fucking gigantic. Like, it's almost like I remember, I forgot, I think it was Austin. Austin was like talking about like Scott Hall, like, you just see him walking around in the back, he looks old. He looks old and small, or old and like kind of frail. And all of a sudden, like, he comes out the curtain and he looks like $1 million. It's like, the pump does something. It just transforms people. It's crazy.
Bro, and like the vibe I got off of, like, when they came out in the suits and I saw them, like, kind of the difference. I'm like, bro, these are like men, like, men, real men, like, bro, like, if you were in charge of AEW and then you just see everybody walking around and shit, bro, you would have no choice but to push the Hurt Syndicate. There's no argument. It's like, these niggas are like
gigantic.
They something else, bro. Like, there's something else. But they're in the ring. They said they were heading to the Super Bowl, but they want to make sure the locker room knew, they were going after all championships. They're open for business. They're looking for new contenders. And then they told anybody to step the fuck up, essentially. And then all of a sudden, the lights go out. The Guns music hits, and they get a nice reaction, too.
I laughed.
And I'm like, damn, they got a good pop too. So I was like, man, is it just the crowd that's just loving it? I was like, fuck it, let's see what happens. And then they kind of hold their own a little bit on the mic with the Hurt Syndicate. They said they're back. They never got a rematch for losing the belts on TV 2 years ago. MVP had a line say, the only reason we ain't whooped your ass because your daddy, essentially. And why not? I thought this worked.
They were with them for every bit of it until they said they're going to take the belts off Hurt Syndicate, and next thing you heard was like, fuck that. Like, the crowd was like, fuck that. The fuck you are. Look, man, I laughed because, like, they came out, I was like, oh, these are lambs to the slaughter. And then, like, Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay, Fletcher and Takeshita, they later had that match with I'll save it, but like, the tag team division seems to be taking shape, and I'm happy.
Yep.
But then,
Harley Cameron,
they've done that with me before when they were doing it before diverticulitis with Omega, where it seemed like they were putting it all together with lace sex gods, and then it turned into the Winnipeg Jets. So we'll see if this is for real this time. They actually going to devote time back into the tag division, because I really would like tag team division wrestling to matter in AEW again, because it was fucking awesome when it was around.
Harley Cameron, who recently popped a number on Collision, by the way.
Is that so?
Yes. She cut a promo backstage as a ventriloquist.
The win?
The Harley halftime thing on Collision this past weekend.
Okay. Gotcha.
So she had a Mercedes doll that she was talking for, and revealed that she would have a concert on Saturday. Collision. Mercedes eventually appeared, confronted her. I got to actually meet Mercedes for the first time, and it was wonderful.
When she came out of her locker room, it saw that there was a ventriloquist doll of herself that was being puppeted by Harley Cameron. The face she made. This was like the best acting job I've ever seen Mercedes do in pro wrestling. She was you can see the steam coming out of her, and she was hot. She did not like that shit, not one bit. It was great.
So she basically said, that one win she had wasn't enough to, warrant a shot at the title at that Harley thing. Mercedes interrupts her or whatever, and then, Harley ends up cutting a really good promo on Mercedes. And it's like, yo, Harley Cameron is actually probably it's very familiar for Mercedes. As far as well, Harley is a training partner of hers, so I think the match is going to end up better than people think it is. But as far as what Harley's skill set is, Mercedes has worked with these elements before, reacting to a very entertaining person and stuff like that. That's why this works. And Harley Cameron is a pro. As far as when the red light comes on, she's going to find a way to entertain, and she does it with precision. I was right there. I was right in front of them as they shot this or whatever. And I saw it and I was like, what? It wasn't too many retakes or anything on that. So we'll see what the match looks like in Australia. I think Australia is going to give her a raucous reaction. They're going to feel the wrath. And look, if they want to do it,
that would be insane. That would be insane.
Do it. Or you drag it out and turn her into a push act for real, throughout the year.
If Harley Cameron were to get the big win over Mercedes instead of Willow, I don't think I'd be happy.
I think there's a bigger win for Willow to get over Mercedes, but
I get what you're saying. But that would require for them to get the belt off Mercedes, then put the other belt onto her. So we really gonna wait that long?
Yeah. I don't know. I just think hard. Yeah, it might be a little much because I would get it.
The biggest match they could do would be Toni Storm Mercedes, right? So
at this point, yes.
So they're gonna have to do that eventually, but who knows when that is?
They should do that at All In. They really should. They should do title for title, and then decide if they're going to vacate the CBS and then tournament for the belt, and then Harley Cameron can win the tournament or whatever the fuck. I don't know.
Well, I mean, why don't they just have a AEW Women's World TBS title? She has both belts, and they just create another belt, and then they can have a tournament for that one.
Do it like Roman Reigns?
Yeah, why not? Yeah. You can call it the AEW Women's World here nigga damn match belts. You can call it that. We can put Statlander in that bitch. We can put Willow in that bitch. We can put Harley Cameron in that bitch. We can throw a lot of them in there. Look, bring over Hazuki because she could be Mercedes.
Yeah. Making Baines around.
Yeah. Put Camille in there. Give her something to do.
Come on, job in this first round to Harley.
That'd be hilarious.
So Renee was with Hangman, and I actually had a really nice conversation with Hangman Page that I will not divulge the information.
Yeah.
She asked Hangman if he was trying to make peace with Swerve last week on Dynamite. Page was like, he was, but it was a lasting judgment. Then he said he didn't feel bad about ending the career of Christopher Daniels because Daniels overplayed his hand. Then all of a sudden, Max Caster's sitting to the side, and I was like, "Oh no!" I was like, "He's in the danger zone." Macho Man was talking about
right.
He said, "Hey man, I'm tired of waiting." He's like, "What the fuck, man? Can we be done with it? I want to talk. What's up?" And then he tries to convince Hangman. He was like, "Hey man, I hear you talking about doing damage to people. I would love if you did something to Anthony Bowens or even Billy Gunn." And then Hangman, who has comedic timing,
right,
said, "Yeah, I'd be down for a fight, but I don't see any of them right now." He said, "Actually, I'm gonna follow you. How about that?"
No, it was like he goes like, nah, but none of them are here, but you are. And then the cast was like, you know what? Never mind. I'm out of here. I'm leaving. And all of a sudden, and then Paige was like, no, I'm following. He's like, I'm following you. But that shit was fucking. I was like, man. I was like, because I only saw that clip in isolation. I didn't watch I didn't get to see the whole show by that point. When I saw what the follow up was that, but I was like, I hope they just don't even show it. It's like just, they roll credits, fade to black, and they show Max Caster, murdered by Hangman backstage while they play that Coach Carter shit with Twisted and Faith Evans is in the back. Just died. Didn't make it.
Then we got the tag team match. Nosuke Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher against the Hounds of Hell, Buddy Matthews and Brody King. Back and forth match. Heat up match for Takeshita and Fletcher, but Hounds of Hell have been getting a nice push lately. This was sensational.
Yep.
Crowd loved this.
Yeah.
And, Takeshita looked great, bro. Takeshi's pants, seeing them shits in real life, bro, it was like, what is this nigga wearing, bro? Like, them shits look so cool. Like, it was like, yo, how wide cut is this, bro? Like what kind of fabric is this? These are I don't know if they were silk, but it was definitely the Nihonian denim. Like,
God damn it.
Nihonian denim, wide cut. I was like, yo, God. This is what a star wears, my nigga. The pants police. Nah. But yeah, this match was sensational.
Bro,
Ruled.
When at
high
the
energy.
And early in the match, Brody King does the running, ramming spots into Takeshita and Fletcher. And bro, the faces they caught Fletcher making on camera selling them shits were hilarious. This nigga like he was dying. Just some amazing comedic timing. Just great. But yeah, man, match was great. Like when they end up him and Takeshita and King were in there, they were going toe to toe, and it was so impressive to watch Takeshita against a dude that big, being able to go strike for strike with him, and Brody's ability to sell being that much bigger than him. It was impressive. It was really impressive. And I really like the finish for the assist brainbuster on Brody. It was good. And obviously, they got Buddy Matthews out of there, so he didn't have to depend before Australia against Okada. So and they also had the Rainmaker music play for distraction to keep the match going. So yeah, it was well done. Really well done. Great match.
Yeah. We had Samoa Joe and Hook attacking Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian backstage. Hook trying to talk to Samoa Joe was funny because we don't really hear Hook talk like that. And then Joe's like, "Hey man, I'm using my lines essentially."
Yeah, hey, don't use the wisdom I bestowed upon you to make me list my own stuff. That was great. Father, do as I say, not as I do.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Right. Yeah. That was great. All right, get to it, Rich. This was fucking hilarious.
They was walking the dog with Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian. Then all of a sudden, Christian Cage leans into the room or whatever and sees them niggas getting stomped the fuck out, closes that door and walks the fuck out of there. Like, we out this bitch.
He's such a fuck nigga, bro. It's great.
Yeah.
For all the shit we've been giving Copeland and Moxley and Christian for the impending doom of that briefcase shit, of that Money in the Bank shit he got going on. He do shit like this is I can't be mad at him for too long because this shit fucking hilarious. He got two he's getting their ass, getting the dog walk with them, both of them getting their ass just destroyed in that man locker room. He going there, what's all this commotion in my locker room? Oh, no, close that door. I'm going back. And the funny part was Martha Wayne was behind him. She watched her son get his ass whooped. This woman won't even go after and save her son. Allegedly the storyline is they knocking boots. I don't fuck by your son. Fuck out of here. Get my ass whooped over your son. That shit was great. Then they walk out of there and then They ducked off in the corner. You're like, oh, the coast's clear. And then they walk into the other one. What happened? What happened? And then they cut the camera. Oh, my God. It was so good. Christian's such a fuck nigga. Oh, my God. It was so good.
We had MJF come out next, and he addressed Jeff Jarrett. He had a pep in the step. He said the E in AEW stands for elite and not all elderly wrestling. It's like he's been online patrolling for that one. MJF said now that Jarrett's out of the way, he can focus on getting the world title back. Matchcaster all of a sudden runs in the ring like he has been caught like in the act, and then he had to run out to home or something. And he tried to hide from Hangman. Hangman's music hit. He chases Caster into the ring, but he got face to face with MJF, but then ran off and chased Caster still. MJF pissed about the interruption, and then all of a sudden another interruption. Here comes Dustin Rhodes. I took a picture of Dustin Rhodes and Trinidad James. That's right, gold dust and all gold everything. That was funny. God. Trinidad James handed me his phone. He's like, "Hey, bro, you take a picture?" I was like, "All right, cool." I found the irony kind of funny.
Yes.
But Dustin then yelled at MJF, basically told him to stop going to dark places, like bringing up Owen Hart, which I was happy they not rectified that, but it was like, hey man, you just ain't let them say that shit unchecked. You use it for something like kind of productive.
Quick question. Isn't that what got, was it the wife lines, the Karen lines is what got him to deck MJF or I'm sorry, Jarrett to deck MJF, or was it the Owen stuff? I can't remember.
I think it was the Owen stuff.
Okay. I couldn't remember. Okay.
So you're talking about people's wives and their drug addictions. He said, I'm one of those people that you're talking about or whatever, essentially. He said he's a survivor. He's the last of his kind in wrestling. MJF said, not only have you worked hard over these 37 years to get out the shadow of your daddy, but essentially you have walked into your brother's shadow, your baby brother's shadow. Dustin steals them.
He stole them for you,
and then the geeks assemble. I thought this was actually really good. Like, I thought we got good MJF. And I thought Dustin was, you can pull him out a couple times. As long as you don't use him too much, he always got something for you.
Look, he got something for you once or twice a year. He has a fire promo for you once or twice a year. It works every time.
Bro, do you think Dustin Rhodes is like KRS-One, where he just keeps a promo ready for the entire top 10 of AEW at any given time in case they call him into action? For those of you that aren't familiar with the story.
Oh, my God.
On the Beef DVDs back in the day, KRS-One used to be a talking head on these things. So KRS, being the fucking character he is, just has to let y'all know he's KRS-One at all times. He's like, hey man, this is just something that I do. I am battle rap. I am hip hop. I have a rhyme that for the entire top 10 of Billboard. This is just how I practice. And it will just totally destroy your career. Like, and he just says so casually and nonchalant. It's like, if you're in that top 10, I have a rhyme for you that will just fuck you up. Like, this is what Dustin Rhodes does. But, yeah. After that, we got Toni Storm versus Queen Aminata. Allegedly, it was Toni Storm. Supposedly, it was Mariah May, but I have never seen Mariah May looking like this. And I'll keep it going.
I'm afraid to talk right now.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to talk right now.
Right. The real Mariah May was on commentary. Whatever, the imitation or that was in the ring. What do we say? I'm not worried about Dr. Umar. I'm saying, like,
I wouldn't even think about Dr. Umar. I was thinking of, like, hey, man, Toni Storm and Queen Aminata, that's an all-time match. In any era.
Agreed.
Oh, also, the wrestling was great. So, like, by the way, the wrestling was really good.
This is awesome chance.
Yeah.
Hitting hard, hip attacks, strikes.
Hard strikes.
Lots of cool. Every time Queen Aminata comes on TV, she has an awesome match. It's like, can we actually do something with her?
Yep. Please. I mean, they even remember they outsourced her to to what's it called? To the oh my god, to Athena and ROH, and that match was awesome too. So yeah. They just got to get something for her on the main roster. I said the main roster on the AEW. She's yeah, man,
sensational.
That was a great match, and it was great in a great matchup. Can't lose when you have stuff like that going on. Can't really lose.
Yeah. Mariah May's all over commentary, making all kinds of snide remarks about Tony Storm. Said Tony Storm had to get the gear altered to fit her. I thought this was a very creative way of talking shit. Yeah.
I would say yes. I'd also say the jokes didn't really
look. The joke was on her.
I was trying to figure out a way to say that when I was saying it. You said it, not me. I'm out. I didn't say it. I didn't have to say it. Someone else said it for me.
Yeah. So, after that, Dustin Rhodes cut another promo. This is
AEW. Look around. This is an ass promotion, ma'am. You need to get your shit together. This is an ass promotion. Look who your contemporaries are in the space.
Y'all outnumbered. Like,
yeah.
So, as I said, Dustin cut another promo, warm-up match next week with him and MJF. After that, we got a video recap about Collision. They did play, about the sit down with Swerve and Ricochet.
Yep.
I don't know if they did that right before the match or they did that. No, they did it here. And it was like, this was the night of the Royal Rumble. So a lot of people, I don't know if they necessarily saw this, but AEW did push it heavily on their social media. If you didn't watch this whole thing, go out of your way to see it.
It was great.
This was the blueprint of essentially like what Ricochet has been since like what I feel like the day the music died for him, like which was that 3-way match or that match he had with Konosuke Takeshita, the 1-on-1 match. It was like, you're done in this town as like, whatever you saw yourself as when you first came into this company. And with Swerve, it was just like, just so many killer lines. Like, it's like, you tried to be a superhero, but they rejected you for it. Meanwhile, I'm the villain and everybody loves me for it. And I know what I am, essentially. Yeah. And I think it was so well done. The energy was perfect. Ricochet was like defensive, kind of, but
the line at the end he had for Swerve was great, though, about his house.
Yeah. And what I felt from Ricochet was like a defensiveness, kind of, where it's like, and then a dropping of that defensiveness, like, all right, man, like, you fucking got me, but here's what it is, but fuck you too, essentially, like, and it's like, hey, man, you're actually defanged or whatever. It says, hey, man, pull that grill out your mouth. You ain't really dangerous like that. You're not really cut like you say you are, essentially. Mm-hmm. And it was like, I feel like we warming up. Like, I sent a tweet out, I think January 1st. I said, Swerve and Ricochet is about to run off with this promotion. Well, looking at what happened in Atlanta on February 8th, I'd say I won that one.
Yeah.
So before we get to reviewing the match, we'll talk about the New York Minute with Chris Jericho, where he talks about he's in the ALT and all this shit.
Yeah. Fucking ham.
And the crowd's chanting ATL ho, which was what happened a couple times.
That was I would say that more than once.
Yeah, that happened during the Hurt Syndicate promo too, I think.
Yep.
And this ends up breaking into a big brawl. He said he's going to offer 200 racks to Brian Keith if he can take out Bandito. Brian Keith versus Bandito was awesome
I saw
on Collision.
And people were like, I love the 10 paces and draw. And I was like, I loved it too. I also saw it, in the match of the year last year too, but it wasn't the full on pacing back and forth. I'm like, it still works, but it's like, we've seen this before, but it don't work. I mean, we've seen it before, even that too, but like, I was like, the actual, like, let's agree to it and then to the dual thing. And then like,
This is a shootout.
I gotta watch the whole match. But I just saw the clip for him. I was like, I know this worked. I'm sure when I watch it, I love it. But I was like, AEW's done this before. But yeah, like, all I was really concerned while watching this was the Hobbs stuff. Because the Hobbs, like the Hobbs,
Bill and Hobbs
and Big Bill stuff. Hey man, Rich, I feel I gotta go. I feel I gotta say it again. Wrestling can be really fucking simple. You put two big gigantic motherfuckers together and watch them beat the shit out of each other, and it works almost every single time unless there's shit in the water, it will work. Right? And when I say big niggas, I don't even mean they ain't even gotta be niggas. This could be gigantic women doing this. It ain't even gotta be big people. Rich, Saya Ida is 4'9", 130? That's not a big human being. It's
a state of mind.
It's a state of mind. Big nigga fighting season is a state of mind. Horse wrestling is a state of mind. Look, dumb jock wrestling is a state of mind. If you live it, you breathe it, you can achieve it. It is always awesome. It's almost always awesome.
Or it. This thing culminates with a Bill and Hobbs, both choke slamming geeks on the side of the ring before meeting up and going toe to toe
over the table.
Every brawl they've done is awesome. These two need a singles match at Revolution. I want to see it. It needs to be no holds barred. You know what? Make it last man standing. Let's go all out, baby. That's what we want. Last man standing. Hobbs versus Big Bill. Let's do it. And then we got the main event: Ricochet versus Swerve Strickland. Just a match that kind of represents so much. Two best black wrestlers in wrestling, maybe of all time. Who knows?
As far as the in-ring situation, well, non-Aja Khan division.
Yeah, like
that's a little tricky. That's a little tricky.
Yeah.
But
this is like, these guys have never really had a major match before. They've wrestled at MLW, but that doesn't really count. Come on, it's MLW. But first time on national television, they've really, first time on national television, they really got to it like an extended, like, hey, this is a spotlight feature on you guys. And what they did kind of from the moment the match started was establish Ricochet is unpredictable. He will take chances. Swerve's over as fuck in the building. This is his house. Literally, he drew it. I got a really cool camera angle from where I was standing. I was going around the crowd with my phone, and then I focused on Swerve, and all of a sudden, Ricochet just comes out of nowhere with that chair, hits him, and then, we're off to the races. We get bump after big bump in this thing. Like, we get the
barricade
counters.
Powerbomb was nuts.
I'll get that in a second. Like, there was this sick counter with the drop kick and the, off the ropes, like, where it seemed like they both jumped 10 feet in the air and just Ricochet stops them. Ricochet seems like he has a renewed charisma ever since turning. He feels so much more natural. There's not the pressure on him to be as much of an acrobat, but he's still one of one in that regard. And then I think Swerve, like, the way he kind of like laid this out, it was just like, it was a perfect main event, like kind of for like this, like what the story they were telling. Yeah. And as you mentioned, that barricade powerbomb, like, Ricochet thinks he's about to give him Hurricanrana on the shit, as he's done it before. He's done it to Will Ospreay. Ospreay's done this. Swerve and Ospreay had the same kind of idea in their match that they did at Forbidden Door. But Swerve's like, nah, fuck all that. Just holds them. This is incredible basing. Like, powerbombs this nigga on the fucking barricade, and just everyone's in disbelief. Like, I can't believe that Ricochet was like, yeah, I'll sign up and do that. But
well, he is wrestling nigga that got powerbombed on a brick like 5 months ago. So that is
true. And these two just proceed to just have like these two separate spots, I think, in the match. Like when I'm watching it, I'm watching this match in person, watch it back on TV, but in person, I just really felt like Swerve really owned the crowd. There was a time where he was just like pointing across the audience, and it was like, yo, this is like one of the biggest baby faces I've ever seen. Like it. Then I see Ricochet completely like invert that energy, and they're giving it to him. Like, and it's like this guy's gonna go to a level that I never saw for him or has potential to in AEW. And it's just like the finish that they do is so creative. And it's like, if you want to protect somebody, this is a genius way to do it. And it's a way to like not feel ripped off and give Ricochet heat from it, because it's like, it was an accident. And you
immediately want another match for the babyface.
Yes. Yep. It set up the second match for them. Ricochet gets the win after the Spirit Gun. And before that whole sequence, like it looks like Swerve's about to finish him off. Gives him the house call. He's going all around, essentially about to wrap this up and be done with him. That block breathes new life into Ricochet. Ricochet's got this look on his face like, I can't believe this shit worked. Like I can't believe I fooled the ref. Essentially, I found money.
No. His face was that like, I didn't mean to do that, but he's hurt, so fuck him.
I'll take it.
Right. It was one of those. So when I watched the match, I didn't think like when Swerve went up, because like Ricochet had the advantage because he was going for the Spirit Gun, and then he ends up he's countered with a house call. So he goes back up for what would have been the second Swerve stomp of the night, and I was like, at that time I was like, this match is ending right here. I think Ricochet is going to have some crazy like counter for it. And then, like, when he came down, I thought that he was rolling through and grabbing the legs and going to a leg submission, like on some Bret Hart shit. And then it turned out to be a low blow. I was like, and I saw the fans like, oh, this is so good. This is fly. He got lucky. He didn't realize it happened. Like, but I thought he was going to, like, put him in submission. But it still worked because he got out of it, and then he got the win. And it's like, it's cheap and it's effective, and people are going to remember this. And, like, the match was ultimately, like, Ricochet he told him, like, going into his, like, this is going to be some athletic exhibition. It's going to be a fight. And for the most part, this is Ricochet, like, in this new character facing the dude that's billed as the most dangerous person in AEW. And, like, this match was absolutely, like, he had to go toe-to-toe with, in a brawl, ugly wrestling match with this guy, in a strike fest or whatever else. And, like, he fared better than you would have imagined him, like, given when he first came into AEW. And it's also fits with his character. Like, of course, he's not there yet, but he ends up finding a way out because, like, his character is, like, I feel like maybe I'm projecting, but I feel there are undertones of Drake and Kendrick going on with this. Like, Ricochet is not actually tough. He's giving you bravado that he is. And then, like, at times when you see glimpses of it, you see him break. Like, the backside, like, hey, man, when he does hey, man, like that, you know, like, he does that.
Talking about me like that.
Yeah,
man.
like that. Like, it's he's giving you this, he's giving you light skin. He's at different points. He's dropping the veil and giving you, like, fragile light skin at people at times. And then, like, this match happens and it's like, oh, he got lucky. And, like, I think that is, quite honestly, I said this to you, you know, months ago, like, this is more character work I've ever seen from Ricochet, compelling character work I've ever seen from Ricochet than I've ever seen from him. And I've been watching him since 2017 at the latest. Right? Like,
it's like, who else is going to sign up for who else is signing up for the Swerve Strickland stimulus package at this point?
Yeah, he's a kingmaker. So yeah, like, this is awesome. I want to see the rematch. He also takes the Nana jacket or robe.
Yes.
For heat, for even more heat. Yeah, like,
when Rich is walking off wearing that thing, it feels like that man is, like, ascended to another level of evil, and, like, also, like, hey man, maybe this guy's a lot bigger problem than what we accounted for.
Well, I think that yes, he's ascended, and also, oh buddy, you finna pay. You finna pay. But yeah, like, right now for me, Ricochet and Saya Kamatani right now are, like, the two biggest, like, vulnerable heels in wrestling right now, as far as the best ones working right now, where it's like, there's clearly some, like, they can wrestle in matches and you know, go toe to toe with people, but in their heart of hearts, they're either given a easy way out or going to find an easier way out, and they take it. And like, their character is like, they're so easy, like, they're so punchable. They're so face punchable. Like, it's really well done by both of them right now. You got to see the Suzu match with Kamatani or whatever. It's like, she's figured it out. Like, she's gonna give you the annoying stuff that you like. I mean, you wish you see it, and then like the last 2/3 of the match is like, this is just Kamatani that you've always known and loved. Like this, she's figured it out. She's figured out the right modulation for this to make this work, and the crowd fucking loves her while being this chicken shit that she is right now. I'm saying Ricochet, like, he's over, but he's getting the actual boos from this American crowd. Like they don't like that dude. They think he's a bitch. And like, that's what the character is meant to do. The character is communicating everything that it's meant to. It's been very effective. It's been I think 2 months ago when we had Suit on here, we were like, hey man, is this the beginning of the end of Ricochet? And like, nah, he reinvented himself.
Yeah, and I think like another factor on this is that these guys are generational rivals. Don't let it fool you in, like, as far as like the lack of matches they've ever had. They've been measuring themselves against each other for 15 years, like in the independents, in WWE, now in AEW. Like there's a professional rivalry here, and I was fortunate to talk to both of them after the match, kind of, and it was like, what I gathered was like the instant chemistry that they have. They've been building this up without even touching each other for 15 years, because like we at one time knew Ricochet as the most spectacular wrestler in the world, maybe at that time.
I mean, yeah,
for many years, yeah, or whatever, a decade, damn near, right? Mm-hmm. And what Swerve is like started to stack on top of each other with these killer feuds, with the killer matches to match. Like, it's like the reps that he's put in doing this, like it's almost like that Danielson promo where he talks about Eddie Kingston. It's like, these guys have been putting in the work, so of course it's going to work on game day. Like when it comes time for the big match, that you drew the fucking big building, that that basically people are using this to prove you are the star that you claim you are, and you can say, yeah, this was our place tonight or whatever.
Yeah,
I think this is like them being generational rivals are like, and Ospreay's a part of this too or whatever. You know, he's linked to all these guys too. Like there's a really cool dynamic of flipping these guys just and putting them against each other in creative ways, because like you could easily do Ricochet versus Swerve Strickland athletic marvel. Let's go out there and just, you know, let's go for 50 essentially, right? Not only are they not doing that, like in those specific words, they're like, we're going to give you 50 in the story leading to it.
This is more effective.
We're going to completely change Ricochet and rebirth his entire career. Swerve is actually barely loses on TV. They put his record on screen on Dynamite. They were he's 21-1 over his last 22 Dynamite matches. So when he loses here, it's really effective.
Right.
So I think what they're doing, we're only halfway there. We're only halfway there.
Yeah, after this, I was like, they have a match at Revolution. They have to.
Oh, get ready. Revolution for sure. Run it back, DJ. Yeah. But yeah, that's gonna be a huge Staples Center. I don't even want to know what the entrance is gonna look like or the gear is gonna look like, or how it's gonna play out towards the end. This only gives Ricochet more license to be more of a menace over the next couple of weeks.
Yep.
And it already started when he ran up on Bun B on Collision.
Yeah, I saw
about
that.
the burgers.
I saw that, yeah.
Man, we got the makings, and then let's talk about the other part.
Ricochet coming out of this. Ricochet coming out of this is I thought he was dead in the water 3 months ago.
Same. I thought it was was the end of me be enjoying this guy or whatever. Like, I thought it was like, yeah, man, you can't be, because I just didn't know, like, I don't know Ricochet or anything. So it was like, can you convince him to be something different?
Can he be something different after being that for so long? Because that made him, you know, a legend around the world.
Right. So it's like, all right, if you're going to do something completely new, all right, take us on the ride. And these two have knocked it out of the park.
I did not expect it to be like, I thought we all were like, he has to pivot, and like, I didn't think the pivot, whatever it was going to be this successful. Like, shout out to everybody involved in this, because like this, I think he comes out of this, you know, as some type of like title player. Like, he has to be factored in on the heel side now. It's like a top 4 heel in the company on the individual side after this. Like, if this goes, if this continues the way it's going, you know what I mean? Like, they have a match as good as what they just had, like in Staples. Oh man. And they're liable to have a better match.
Yeah.
You know?
You know, people were in the crowd are bringing it up, 2 black men in the main event in Atlanta. I mean, you know, I don't think anybody had to, like, I don't think that was necessarily a
and this wasn't a mandate. This was like built towards for a while.
Yeah, it wasn't a secret. Like, I don't think I think there was that symbolism there, but it wasn't necessarily like C2 started right after Full Gear.
So yeah, this started like in November.
Yeah.
This stuff all started in November.
So like, it's like, you know, that's there if you want it, you know, but that wasn't necessarily like the thing. It was like, yeah, it's Atlanta. You probably should do this, right? But everything lined up.
Everything lined up perfectly. It was the right place at the right time to do it, and also to continue to get to Revolution as well. The real goal is probably at Revolution. He's like, let's throw this here too as well. It'll add to it. It did. It was great. Like, this is a top feud in American Pro Wrestling right now to me.
Absolutely. It ain't the Death Riders. I can tell you that. It ain't Cope. Like, it ain't. Don't get me
wrong. I really like what Gunther is doing with Jay White or Jay Uso right now, but no, it ain't this.
2 different things. But
like that is like, you know, Gunther, or like that is like just, you know, exceeding expectations. This is like, you have expectations because of just the names together, and then they're changing who they are, and then this shit is working. Like, I don't give a fuck about that card that Hurt Syndicate card anymore. I don't give a fuck about it. He's his own person. He don't need them. He can be on his own.
Yeah, like, it's like, if you could hear the building and how they were reacting to these guys, like, I think that's like, anybody that was in that building can tell you. And shout out to One Nation Radio listener Heavenly Halbert, who I actually got to meet in person there. That was a really cool experience for me. That, you know, what he told me and all that. But like, I saw the way the people were reacting, and it was like, there was a Trish and Sarah shirt front row.
Yeah, I saw that.
There, that was pretty cool. But the way they were reacting to them in the ring, it was like, this is their fucking building. And it was just like, I was there at this show, and I was looking for, you know, something in pro wrestling to really grab me. And this like grabbed me. And I was like, wow, I get to go, you know, like, you know, hang out after the show with at least one of them, maybe both. And I ended up, you know, I'll cut it off there. But yeah, it was like, yeah, man, this is cool. I actually watched the match with the weirdest combo of people. You can roll the dice and come up with this combo of 4 people. So one person that I was very excited to meet, and I just kind of saw walking around, apparently he works for AEW, Scotty Riggs from WCW.
Really?
Yeah, Bagwell's tag partner, also in the flock or whatever. Talked to him a couple times, slap fives with him. I watched the match with him, a friend of mine, and Samantha. So she was like right in front of me as we were watching the match, and it was like, oh, that's interesting. So it was a unique night, man. I had a lot of fun. So, I enjoyed rewatching it on TV as well, but the in-building experience was invaluable for especially this match.
Okay. But yeah, man. I didn't watch Collision, but heard it was great. So I gotta watch that. I gotta watch, New Beginnings in Osaka. So yeah.
But it was a good week, and we needed it because it was looking dire. And look, this WrestleMania season is about to get messy. And I don't know, man. I just feel like
it could always get messier, Rich.
Oh, absolutely.
It could always.
There's one big joke. If that big Joker decide to fall, it gets even messier.
Big Joker come through. Everybody got look. After last year, Big Joker come through again. Everybody got to get the fuck out the way because he makes better television than all of them combined. You saw that clip I sent you. You saw that clip I sent you earlier today. Rock doing all that shit to Cody, whooping his ass and all that shit, talking cash shit, talking big shit, wearing the finest of haberdasheries and silks. Hey man, man. Go ahead.
You know what the funniest shit is?
What?
That man pinned Cody last year, and Cody ain't getting that win back.
Right. Like, look, man.
If he don't come back,
right. I'm here for all of it, especially if Rock come back. I'm here for all of it because, man, I'm at the point now where like that shit was so fun last year. Where I'm like, hey, man, like when I see the dumbasses online and they talk about it, they hate rate Twitter and they say they don't care, they don't care about the matches. They just want to watch the segments. I'd be like, that sounds insane. And I'm like, that sounds insane until The Rock shows up. And then I understand exactly what the fuck they mean. But these other niggas ain't The Rock. There's only one of those. He's only one.
This has been a golden rule for 25 years, James.
That is true. That is true. I forgot the golden rule. Oh man. Anything else?
Probably wrap it up.
Yeah.
We should probably wrap it up. The Lakers. Did we ever talk about? Oh yeah, we did. We talked about.
We talked about Lucas Trade last week. I think we did I think you clipped up like a half-hour segment. Yeah, man. First game was last night, right?
Yeah, caught a very bad Utah team. I didn't really learn anything about us.
We didn't. I mean, I learned some.
Give it a couple games.
I learned some things. I mean, obviously, look, some games. Look, I looked at y'all's schedule. The back half of this month and the first half of next month, you'll know, because it's Clippers, it's Nuggets twice, it's Boston, it's Knicks. So yeah, you'll definitely see over this next month, after next week in 4 weeks stretch, you'll see it. You'll see. But yeah, man, I don't know how you're gonna guard them. Defense is gonna be a problem. I don't know how you're gonna guard them.
I was just in shock just seeing them in the uniform for the first time. It was just like, how?
Were you in shock? It was like, I thought y'all told me he was 270. What the fuck,
there's that.
Man, lying ass nigga is ridiculous.
Niggas lied. That nigga's 230.
Oh my!
He might be
He looks like he's always looked.
He might be 235, 240 or whatever, right? He's not 270. I can tell you what 270 look like.
Yeah.
No way.
270 at 6'7". No, that is not. Y'all don't know what that was. But anyway, niggas got caught slipping with the fat suit again. But yeah, it's in the show, y'all. Thanks for listening. If you are watching from the stream, be sure to go to the show notes in the podcast and go to the Rare Circle link and you can donate there. Also, go to Chop Tees and you can pick up the One Nation Radio Dream Team aesthetic gear. Besides that, be sure to listen to other shows on the network. Besides One Nation Radio, you have Keepin It Strong Style. You have All Things Elite. You have Imps WWE Adventure. You have Wrestling Art with Chris Things. You have, I'm going to say the Great Conference. That's nuts. You have Total Talk, and you have the Trish and Sarah Wrestling Podcast. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
Shout out to y'all. Peace.
There are some things you wouldn't mind being stuck with, like a large unexpected inheritance. An always on the verge of death phone that has to be plugged in just right so it charges is not one of those things. Switch to Verizon and we'll pay off your old phone, up to $800 via prepaid MasterCard, so you can get a new one. Just trade in any phone from our top brands on any unlimited plan. With new line on my plan. Additional terms apply for trade-in and pay off your phone offer. See Verizon.com for details.